The rapid consumer digital adoption, the dynamically changing customer behaviors and preferred interactions, and employee expectations demand for enterprises today to ensure that their digital channels are on par with or better than those of their competition. To succeed in this new environment, staying ahead of the times is now every enterprise's moving target. In the process of finding predictability, business growth, and new ways of doing things, going digital has become a matter of survival for all organizations. Undoubtedly, as the true champions of the digital revolution, CIOs have grown more influential in their business sphere and have taken on new responsibilities that directly impact business outcomes for top line as well as bottom line. CIOs now at the center in defining customer and employee experiences, delivering new services in the market, and reshaping business models by getting their digital and modernization journeys right the first time. This year, CIO Crown 2021 brings together CIOs and digital business leaders from across the country to discover how they are relooking and reimagining their digital journeys, setting the right goals, and leveraging the smartest tools and technologies as they lead their organizations into the new digital age. Welcome to CIO Crown 2021, the evolving digital future. ReThink, ReValuate, ReDefine. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome and thank you for joining us for the 9th season of CIO Crown 2021, all online. I hope you all are staying safe and keeping healthy. We truly appreciate the support you have extended and thank you for having kept the engagement flourishing while standing together as a community. Since the last edition of CIO Crown in October 2020, we as a community have traversed a great distance to emerge stronger and better. Technology leaders like you have been instrumental in reshaping and redefining the future, and we truly want to acknowledge it. CIO Crown is a unique and powerful platform for technology leaders to unite, discover, and collaborate to chart out the future course of action. I'm your host Aditya Mathur, and I promise you that the next few hours will be worth your time because we have a highly curated lineup of speakers and senior industry thought leaders sharing their unique perspectives on the digital future as they see it. So this year, CIO Crown All Online is themed around the evolving digital future. ReThink, ReValuate, ReDefine. So stay tuned with us. And to add some elements of excitement and fun, we have lots of prizes and giveaways lined up. We have 100 gift vouchers to be given out during the event. 50 lucky ones who stay with us throughout the session will stand to win vouchers worth Rs 2,000 each. And also, we have 25 vouchers worth Rs 2,000 each for those of you participating in our surveys. Ladies and gentlemen, do use the hashtag CIO Crown 2021 to tag us as you post your thoughts and learnings from the event across social media on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. We will be picking 20 posts and you will have exciting gift vouchers worth Rs 2,000 coming your way. We also have 5 vouchers for the maximum number of social media posts. So let's kickstart CIO Crown 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, to formally welcome you, I'd like to invite the founder and president of Core Media, Anup Mathur.
A very good afternoon and warm welcome to our 9th edition of CIO Crown. Thank you so much for taking time out and joining us today. Much appreciated. So today we're going to look at the CIO's dilemma, right? There are a series of technologies. There are multiple focus areas. There's the focus on top line growth. It's a lot about profitability. It's about bottom line, and at the same time, technology and IT is driving every organization and business. Now, let's start looking at what are the technological revolutions and the shape of tomorrow. So we'll delve into the four aspects. One is around disruption and growth. The other is around sustainable innovation, efficiency innovation, and of course we'll talk about a new technology which is the expandiverse. So let's start with disruption. Right now, disruption brings growth. In fact, Steve Ballmer of Microsoft, once said that Apple's new invention, the iPhone, was a waste of money, and it doesn't appeal to business customers because it doesn't have a keyboard, which makes it not a very good email machine. But we all know that today mobiles are actually an extension of yourself, and mobility is the way to go. Everybody, even in the digital world, is focusing a lot on how you can enhance your mobility, or your extension, which is the mobile phone. Now, while disruption makes products affordable and accessible, and again, another example, in 1876, Western Union actually ridiculed the phone as a means of communication, as it had shortcomings. But we all know what telecommunications has done, and pretty much forms the backbone of everything today when it comes to any form of communication. Now, the reality is that disruption brings growth, but it needs a focused budget and capital. It needs management support to see the future. It needs a long-term view with patience. It needs to be believed in before it is seen. And lastly, it needs a risk appetite, which becomes very important if you want to do any kind of disruption. Now, developing new technologies to create disruption is not trivial. It's quite a Herculean task. And the right business model that creates cash flow takes time, and I would say a bit of luck. But most companies will bleed money before finding the right mix of technology and business model when focused on disruption. So it's not easy, but it's got its long-term benefits, right? Now, when the resources, processes, and values of a company don't match the target market, even the best management won't help. And we've seen that with a lot of enterprises where they launch products, they launch services, but there is no need for it in the market. They're not able to create a market. And even if you have the best of team, the best of management support, the best of investments, it won't work because it doesn't match the target market, or the market is not ready for it. And therefore, the reason why startups have a chance to overtake industry titans when it comes to disruption is that it starts in low margin niche markets. They are very focused. And also because the target customer is an entirely different one than before, or they've managed to find the right gap, or they've managed to find the right product and service, and create that market. So what we also call as, a blue ocean, where you start creating a new market altogether. Next, let's delve into sustainable innovation. Now, sustainable innovation is about making existing product services better, improve margins, gain market share, but it has very little net growth, which means that you already have something which you've innovated, but at the same time, you are kind of trying to sustain that, working on it a little more, and building the sustainability around it. So what's the focus of management, right? Sustaining innovation happens on an incremental basis, often in response to customer or market demand or technology improvements. Sustaining innovation occurs within pre-existing markets that customers and consumers have demonstrated their value already. So you don't create a new market, you don't delve into new customer bases, but it's pretty much sustaining with the existing market. So in other ways, it's saying that you start looking at a larger share of the wallet with your existing customers within the existing markets. Next is it's about efficiency innovation. And if you want to maximize your profit, then you have to increase the efficiency. So this is a lot around the bottom line focus, right? What does efficiency innovation do? It eliminates jobs, creates free cash flow. Now, efficiency innovation often assumes the form of a process improvement or a more efficient business model. What does it do? It enables businesses to simplify and streamline their existing processes, which means you could look at automation, or you could also look at, taking away some of the tasks or, processes which are manual in nature and not needed anymore. So not necessarily automate, but it could actually also mean that you cut away with those tasks. Produce their existing products at a lower cost, and that's where you start seeing that either you outsource, you offshore, or you look at other ways of either providing the service or the product where you can get the maximum efficiency. And thirdly, you kind of sell your products or services to your existing customers at lower prices. Now that's how you start looking at maximizing your profit. But if I look at the profitability metrics between the three of these, then efficiency innovation will have best profitability metrics than the sustainable innovation, and sustainable innovation will have better profitability metrics than disruptive innovation. And that's how the profitability cycle works when you look at the various types of innovations. Now, when your transformation is in progress, we're going to do a comparison in terms of what your current status is and what the new opportunity looks like. So, or rather, what is the new opportunity you may want to look at? So, current status could be you're turning services into products, which is you start commoditizing, you start bucketing things, but you turn products into services, and that's the new opportunity. You kind of go reverse. You're looking at stable routines, and the new opportunity is continuous improvement, what we also call as Kaizen. The focus or the current status is about human resources, but going forward, your new opportunity is focusing on human capital as opposed to just looking at them as resources. The current status is largely around a fixed plan, but when you're getting into transformation, it's about adaptive elastics planning. You are fairly adaptive. You're very dynamic in terms of what decisions you take. The plans can be changed, and you look at what's the business outcome. No environmental concern in the current scheme of things, but environment first is the new opportunity that comes in. You give back to the ecosystem. You look at what are you producing, what are you catering to, what are you offering, and there is no impact on the environment. Working in silos versus working in open networks. And lastly, a business starts looking at economies of scale, and that's the current status. But your new opportunity is specialization with communities and networks, where you start going into verticals, you go into very niche markets, you start focusing on specific personas, right? And specific markets. Now, lastly, I'm going to touch upon a new concept, new technology, which is the expandiverse, to just leave you with a thought in terms of how things are moving going forward. So the expandiverse is a new technology that builds a people-first world that empowers everyone's digital life, work, learning, and play. The expandiverse calls for people-first capitalism, and what is it all about, right? So, or what is it preaching or talking about? It's talking about that automations will turn into hyper-automation when they add artificial intelligence and privacy. When people are empowered, their choices will change the system to people first. Everyone chooses their goals and receives their personal solutions. When the system learns, people do better, and perhaps there is no need for a education system. Sales are made by serving each person meaningfully in always on private customer vendor relationships, which means a very customized way of delivering the customer experience. And finally, leaders gain deep, meaningful, and private relationships with each consumer. So that's about expandiverse. I'm not going to spend too much of time talking a lot about customer experience, employee experience, data, AI, ML, a lot of things to talk about, but we've got a fantastic lineup of sessions with our partners, some independent speakers, and views from CIOs and industry leaders as we kind of move forward with CIO Crown. So stay tuned with us, and keep safe, stay healthy, and I look forward to e-connecting with you again, and I hope you will enjoy the sessions that we've got lined up for you through the evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anup. KPMG is our knowledge partner, and today we have with us Kunal Pandey, partner KPMG, to share a few words. Over to you, Kunal.
Good evening, my dear CIO friends, ICT leaders, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be amongst you all at this year's CIO Crown event. We all know the rapid consumer digital adoption, dynamically changing customer behaviors, and preferred interactions at one end, and employee expectations, demands on them on the other end, are requiring enterprises today to ensure that the digital channels are on par with or better than those of their competition. We are seeing the digital and industrial 4.0 revolutions unleashing transformative forces and bringing significant changes to our lives. I can't imagine organizations, big or small, that do not see these forces at core of their immediate and long-term strategy. The power of AI/ML, cloud, 5G, Internet of Things, sensor technologies, blockchain, and I can go so on, are enabling emergence of newer business models in this hyper-connected world. The collaboration amongst organizations, from traditional companies to unicorns, is leading to innovative offerings. This interconnected world, characterized by businesses that are providing anytime, anywhere, convenient, and extremely efficient offerings, is also facing ever-increasing cybersecurity threats. It is imperative that businesses fully embrace cybersecurity by design to add trust, a very important attribute to gain customer confidence, regulators' confidence, and at the larger level, stakeholders' confidence. CIOs, all of you, now have the highly challenging goal of getting your digital and modernization journeys right at the first time. At KPMG, we are pleased to be associated with CIO Crown as Knowledge Partner 2021 edition. I wish Anup, the entire core media team, a successful CIO 2021. And I hope all of you here enjoyed today's conversations. All the best.
Thank you, Kunal. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Core Media is delighted to unveil the 9th edition of the CIO Choice 2021 brand book that contains the details and profiles of the most trusted ICT brands, voted for and by the CIOs and IT leaders. You will be receiving your copy of the CIO Choice 2021 brand book soon. Ladies and gentlemen, next up is an interesting session on fast forwarding to future-ready BFSI sector by our data and AI partner, IBM. For this, I would like to welcome Mr. Shiv Kumar Bhasin, Group CTO and COO of the National Stock Exchange, and Viswanath Ramaswamy, Vice President, Technology Leader, India South Asia, IBM. To moderate this session, I would like to call upon Anup Mathur. Over to you, Anup.
Hi Shiv, hi Vishy, how are you today?
Great.
Excellent. Data is at the center of organizations' innovation strategies and customer experience programs. Now, across industries, maximizing the impact of data analytics is critical for CIOs in building a truly insight-driven enterprise. However, data analytics and artificial intelligence projects are often far from being holistic and tend to be siloed in nature. So in today's discussion with Shiv and Vishy, we will be discussing about how successful enterprises are leveraging data, AI, and analytics to be on the path to growth, with some tangible takeaways for you to consider and apply in your organizations. So Vishy, why don't we start with you? See, data has always been critical for businesses, but the last 18 months have been an eye-opener for organizations that haven't been approaching data as a strategic enabler for growth. How do you see enterprises in the BFSI sector rethinking data in the current scenario to truly bridge the gap between insights and actions? Over to you, Vishy.
Okay, thanks, Anup. Good to see you, Mr. Shiv, and thanks for inviting me, Anup. So the last 18 odd months, Anup, has actually profoundly changed the way we live and we work, and we've all experienced it as we go through in this very much live event what we are going through right now. I think device and platform agnostic, anytime, anywhere services is the new normal, and that's going to be the defining thing. And what has really evolved is because of a lot of digital disruption, extreme acceleration of digitization were the key forces, or I would say continue to be the key forces that's propelling this change. So this last 18 odd months, 18 plus months has actually taught us that online infrastructure is no longer a good to have. It is a key component for the business, somewhere to keep the lights on, make the services available. But extreme digitization is actually developed on an open hybrid cloud platform, right? The area that I see and we see a significant change is on data and AI, how to best manage and exploit the tremendous data explosion. Digital economy maturing becomes mainstream now, competing landscape. How do we incorporate artificial intelligence, which we take all the insights from our data as a part of our core roadmap? It's no more a wish to have or a luxurious thing to have, but it's a must have. So the focus will not only be on using AI for improved customer service operational optimization, more of internal efficiency, but data is spreading its tentacles into the birth of AI into many of these use cases.
Thanks for that, Rishi. Next moving to you, Shiv. Now, see, digital has made great inroads in the BFSI sector, from onboarding to trading to settlement and so on. And this is also because there is an increasing pressure on the firms to deliver end-to-end customer experiences focused on convenience, hyper-personalization, low latency, and so on. Shiv, what are some of the future trends that you foresee?
See, I think as we see in terms of the data growth and carrying out all these concepts for the digital transformation, be it is a hyper personalization or leveraging the data for the advanced analytics for whatever is the context, be it is a simplifying the life of the customer, be it is a advising the customer for various choices. But all these mechanisms and all these tools and technologies for gathering all these intelligent analytics, you need very, very advanced tools which require sometimes enormous amount of intelligence and enormous amount of storage as well. So the cloud is a way where the data, when we look at the next trend for the data to be on the cloud, where all the analytics and warehousing could be carried out on the cloud, and right leveraging the advanced tools of the cloud, the right level of analytics for whatever is the purpose could be carried out.
Thanks for that, Shiv. And I think very valid point that you need to have advanced tools. And Rishi, that's where partners like IBM come into play. And so the next question, which obviously I have, is tell us how you at IBM are helping some of the leading firms in the BFSI space in India to build and scale AI programs to accelerate digital transformation and deliver customer experience. So over to you, Rishi.
Okay, that's a great point what Shiv also mentioned, and adding to that, if you look at it, Anup, actually AI is actually causing a very seismic shift for customer experience and digital transformation, right? The way we understand, to the point earlier what you asked a question on data, from a structured data to an unstructured data, getting insights out of it, AI systems understand unstructured information the way we humans understand, right? And they not only consume vast amount of data with far greater speed, but they learn from the interactions as well, just as the way we would learn, right? In the last 12 odd months, I would say, as I mentioned earlier, the acceleration of digital transformation has been as an explosive speed, right? And courtesy that, the adoption of AI also has been a significant rise in the BFSI sector. We've seen AI used in wide variety of cases. I can name a few of them for you. For example, at IBM, we are helping customers infuse AI into trade finance, where natural language processing capabilities to read and capture context from data in the documents, continuous machine learning based on reclassification, so on and so forth. So, one use case is AI in trade finance and BFSI. Another interesting case was cognitive assistant, where AI can be used to build a great chatbot, right? We have ventured further into integrating with enterprise technologies, just not at the consumer level, but it's integrated a lot of the enterprise systems in BFSI, any banking financial sector, say, which help call center staff and so on and so forth. So cognitive assistant is the second use case. The third, where where clients are looking at leveraging, and we have done significant work, is on fraud in both banking and insurance use cases. For example, safer payments, financial transactions, quickly deploy regulatory technology with AI baked into it. And I always keep saying this, that probably sooner or later, the mantra would be: is this AI AI is pervasive? Is this AI aware? Is this AI ready? Is what this would really translate into.
Thanks for that, Vishy. Shiv, coming back to you, while we are, on the customer experience, and Vishy just spoke about, what all IBM is doing, in a brief nutshell. See, delivering a compelling experience to all the stakeholders requires the CIO and teams to constantly gather continual intelligence on user needs and behaviors. And interestingly, those needs change every day, and the necessary data must still be pulled from a wide variety of sources. So tell us how you at NSE are leveraging technologies such as AI and analytics to improve customer experience and efficiencies across the board, Shiv. So over to you.
Yeah, so actually AI analytics is largely used for reducing the manual workarounds as well as the various manual process steps and lot of paper-based process steps. So some of these are the key areas where we have focused on moving from some places digitalizing the transactions, and some places doing the real digital transformation of the processes. So in some places we have totally rediscovered the or reinvented the business processes, and there we have moved all papers into the dustbin. So there is zero paper and everything is a straight through processing. However, we are gathering the data from the same papers, and those could be the various government IDs, those could be various certifications in our trading world, or those could be various very large red herring prospectus, kind of very large 300-pager documents. And they are being analyzed and scanned, and all the relevant information extracted, and then behind the scene, using various fintech APIs, either going to the various government data sources or various fraud and analytics companies or various other data analytics companies, where they carry out the comparison of the various information from the name value pair kind of large data sources. But all that is happening behind the scene using the REST style APIs hosted on the API gateways on the public clouds, and no paper gets involved in that, but real-time verification gets done at the same time. which earlier people used to load all these documents while carrying out a business process. Then paper used to get downloaded, back office operation staff used to look at with the physical papers, and all those verifications they used to do offline. So while these things which earlier were offline, they are happening now the real time. And however, it may seem, from the retail world, a kind of a little a generation behind. But when you look at the capital markets world, it is putting them in a similar shape, like 5 years ahead of the rest of the market, when the retail was there, where retail banking was there 5 years back in 2015, 2016 time frame, when these kind of technologies were used there. But it is a much more impactful in the corporate world, because it brings a lot of reduction on the shop floor for the carrying out the various business processes, as well as how to leverage the money or reuse, especially in the some of the clearing and collateral management processes, which earlier were not getting used or leveraged because of the paper-based processes. And now, if you are able to use, the various funds, I can't describe in such a short time, but like some of these funds which were unutilized because of the manual and not straight through business processes, and they are available within the 3 to 5 minutes for reuse, which is bringing like the huge amount of in thousands of crore liquidity into the capital market. So some of those things are also once they go live, they will bring a lot of innovation in the capital market, a lot of growth in the capital market. So that's where we are leveraging in the exchange arena these kind of technologies.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Shiv. In fact, it's quite insightful to hear that thousands of crores, the liquidity opening up purely on the back of these new technologies and the digital initiatives. And I must say that when you spoke about reimagine and the word re, so in fact, if you see the theme for CIO Crown this year is the evolving digital future, and it's all about rethink, reevaluate, and redefine. And I think you just kind of hit it on the nail when you started with your point on that. So Vishy, coming back to you, see, one of the key challenges to become a data-driven organization in today's tumultuous and dynamic environment is the ability to predict future trends. What are some of the key areas that IBM has been working on in order to fast track your customers' predictive analytics programs to foresee changes and respond fast? Over to you, Vishy.
We found fundamentally three major AI challenges which most organizations really face. The first one is data complexity, where we all know that data is the foundation or the fuel for business to really drive smarter decisions, right? While 90% of the business leaders list improving the use of data at the top of the priority, but only 15% of them are actually able to get what they need to get out of the data. The second challenge is primarily around the skills, right? The third and most important challenge is trust, right? For every organization to truly embrace AI and scale it right through the length and breadth of their organization and business, they need to break this black box of AI and trust the systems, trust the insights which is coming out of the data. It is critical to ensure AI recommendations or decisions are fully traceable as well, right? Enabling the audit to the lineage of the models, what we have been used to, and so on and so forth. Because as more and more applications start using AI, to the point what I made earlier, that AI is going to be pervasive across the length and breadth of every business and organization, right? They need to have the visibility into the recommendations made by their AI applications. So, especially in industries like finance, where it's highly auditable and regulatory in nature, be it healthcare, in which adherence to GDPR regulations are pretty significant barriers, and so on and so forth. So, trust and embracing the trust and having a transparent mechanism to see the recommendations of these AI models becomes the third most big challenge which every organization in business, and we at IBM are constantly actually helping clients to overcome all these challenges, right, through various technologies what we have and building that trust in their AI systems.
Excellent. I think very nicely summed up, Vishy, with the three challenges and how IBM is working with the customers and enterprises to help them solve the challenges. Thanks a lot for that. But that also brings us to the end of this conversation. But I think it was truly insightful, and I'm sure that all our participants, have kind of taken some great inferences from the discussion. But thanks a lot, Vishy, and thanks a lot, Shiv, for joining us. And I look forward to reconnecting with you once again in the near future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anup. Thank you, Mr. Shiv. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vishy. Thank you, Anup.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, on your screen at the right bottom corner, you will see the survey tab. Do click on the tab, and once the page opens up, click on the IBM logo Form 1 to see the questions and respond. And you stand to win exciting gift vouchers worth Rs 2,000. Fill in your answers quickly and get back to the main session. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next is our C-Suite Digital Vision, featuring top CXOs from key sectors in India sharing their vision around the digital future for their sector. First up, let's welcome Vinod Bhatt, CIO Air Vistara, representing the airline industry. Good to see you, Vinod. Over to you.
Thank you, Aditya. See, if I have to talk about three priorities from the business and technology perspective, which are very important to meet the digital goals, for the next 1 year, are, I think, number one in the airline industry is the customer experience. How do we elevate this customer experience to the next level? Particularly the customers, pre-flight, during flight, post-flight, and also there is multi-channel interactions today with the customer. So all the digital interventions which we are doing because of pandemic, because of the technology advancements, because of AI/ML, I think it will play a huge role in making sure that the customer experience is addressed, not only for the regular customers, but also for the loyalty customers. I think that's the first priority in the industry. I see that it will be very critical for the business leaders as well as technology leaders. Second is about airline industry sits on a huge pile of data. So the visibility and the availability of the data almost in the real time will be a key factor. And also more importantly, taking the decisions or deriving the decisions or insights out of this data will be the second most priority. And when I'm talking about data, I'm not talking only about customer data. I'm talking about data from the ground services, flight operations, engineering, safety. And because when the flights take off and the flights touch down, there's a lot of data generated from the safety point of view, MRO point of view. I think there's a lot of scope for the next 1 year where we can take a lot of meaningful decisions and make sure the data is first of all ready. It is in real-time shape, and also the right algorithms are built, right tools are there to derive the insights. I think that will be the second priority from my perspective. Third priority, which is very important, which is more prevalent, I would say, after pandemic, is compliance to security and also to the regulatory guidelines. So in the hybrid world where we're exposed to a lot more information, data, or cybersecurity, I think we need to make sure that the framework is right, the loose ends are tightened, and there is a lot of rigor in terms of monitoring the security aspects, as I said, on all the front, whether it is information, data, or cyber, but also on the regulatory compliance. We are a very regulated business, and whether it is GDPR compliance or lands, laws of the land which we need to follow. I think those are the third priority which I feel are very important. So yes, customer experience, data and insights, and the security and compliance. Those will be three things from airline industry perspective.
Thank you, Vinod, for sharing those valuable insights with us. Ladies and gentlemen, our next session is by our sustainability partner, Schneider Electric. I'd like to have Anup back with us to set the context and for introductions.
Across industries, CIOs have been playing a key role in advancing their organization's larger sustainability goals. In the last 1 year, especially, they have a growing influence on broadening enterprises' sustainability efforts addressing environmental, social, and economic impacts. This year, we have launched the Sustainability Champions Awards presented by Core Media and powered by Schneider Electric. These awards recognize IT leaders in India who have been optimizing energy consumption in their IT infrastructure, implementing smart and efficient strategies to achieve sustainability and hence lowering their carbon footprint. To share with us about what's innovating at Schneider and to present the Sustainability Champions Awards, I would like to introduce and welcome Schneider Electric's new India leader, Sachin Bhalla, Vice President and Country Manager, Secure Power Division, Greater India. Good to see you, Sachin, and congratulations and all the very best to you in taking Schneider Electric to new heights.
Thank you, Anup, and a big hello, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. I would be talking about sustainable digital transformation and what Schneider is doing about it. The world is becoming digital. It feels like I am preaching to the choir here. I think everybody here in the audience will agree that this is happening. But what surprises me is the pace at which this is happening. Look at how fast the IoT devices are growing. 5G connectivity, which will probably be rolled out next year, will again drive a significant uptake in the demand of digital content. I think the most important number I am looking at is by 2025, 10% of India's GDP will come from core digital sector. That's a huge number to look at. And all this is going to put significant demands on energy and other resources, making sustainability an absolute must. The electricity demand in the country in the next 10 years would double, making efficiency an absolute must, making focus on decarbonization an absolute. And not just these two, we have to look at beyond these two and see what can we do in the field of sustainability overall. Now, data centers are the heart of the digital world, and we must focus on how we can make data centers sustainable. And not just sustainable. In fact, in our vision of data centers, we believe that data centers of future have to focus on 4 big pillars: sustainability, efficiency, adaptability, and resilience. In fact, what we believe is that in the field of efficiency and resilience, huge work has been done, significant progress has been made by the owners and operators. But in the area of sustainability and adaptiveness, we are just getting started. In fact, as Schneider Electric, we are putting huge focus on all these 4 pillars. And what we are working on is 3 areas to achieve this vision. One, we are focusing on delivering the broadest portfolio of our connected offers. Second, how do we make sure all these connected offers are integrated as systems and don't work as just individual products? And third, we are focused on how we can use software and services to increase availability and efficiency of data centers. In fact, if you will look at our portfolio of connected products, everything from a low voltage switchboard to a medium voltage switchboard to a busway to BMS to cooling to UPS, we have connected products across. And not just we have connected products, we have EcoStruxure as the platform that we use to make sure all these connected products are talking to each other, and we have a bunch of apps and analytics and services on top of that to make sure we are integrating all these connected products, and we are providing software and services across power, cooling, and IT room. Again, I will emphasize that when you're looking at data centers, when you're looking at your digital investments, make sure your focus is on sustainability, efficiency, adaptability, and resiliency. In fact, as Schneider Electric, we are leading by examples. And you can see here, we are globally recognized for the work that we are doing in the area of sustainability. Once again, thank you for your time, and really happy to be able to join here today. We are delighted to have partnered with Core Media for the Sustainability Champions Awards. Let's take a look at who the winners are.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to announce the winners of the Sustainability Champions Awards. The first Sustainability Champions Award winner is Palani Kumar, Vice President, Titan Company. The next Sustainability Champions Award winner is Prakash Subramanian, Director, Cognizant Technology Solutions. The next Sustainability Champions Award winner is Kuldeep Kaul, Regional CIO and CISO, Thales. The next Sustainability Champions Award winner is Sri Rangamule, Senior Executive Vice President and CTO, NTT. The next Sustainability Champions Award winner is Manjunath Prasad, Head IT Infrastructure, TVS and Sons.
Congratulations to all the winners, and thank you for the great work you are doing in the sustainability area.
Transforming businesses. Thank you, Sachin. Ladies and gentlemen, on your screen at the right bottom corner, you will see the survey tab. Do click on the tab, and once the page opens up, click on the Schneider logo to see the questions and respond. And you stand to win exciting gift vouchers worth ₹2,000. Fill in your answers quickly and get back to the main session. In the next C-Suite Digital Vision, we have with us Sankarsan Banerjee, CIO, RBL Bank, sharing his thoughts about how he envisions the digital future for the banking sector. Let's hear it from you, Shanky.
Digital, is changing the landscape of banking quite a bit across the board. But of course, some things are particularly affected by this whole move to digital. I think the sector's largest challenge is facing up to the huge change in volume of transaction and the reliability expected out of the transactions that we are processing today. We are in the traditional banking world, in the credit card world, transactions, an individual would do maybe 1-2 transactions a day, usually about 10-20 a month. Corporates would do maybe 20-30 a day, maybe a few hundred a month. Today, it is not unusual for an individual to do 100 transactions a day. And we are therefore seeing a huge increase in the number of transactions that are happening every day and also every second sometimes. There are peaks led by e-commerce sales or led by subscriptions to a sports event, which are quite humongous and far more than you see in the pre-digital world, I would say. And it's across banking. You can swipe credit cards only so quickly when you're manually swiping. But digital payments happen a lot faster. And we are seeing volume spikes in a per second kind of ratio at 20,000, 15,000 across the board. And this is not just RBL Bank. Every bank is seeing it. And every bank is struggling with keeping up their architecture to handle this kind of volume. We have to rejig our architecture, relook at our capabilities, and make sure we have the right architecture, the right expectations of peak. And also because that's changing every year. Today we are saying 15, 20,000. Tomorrow we'll say 50, 60,000. So the architecture has to be able to accommodate these large shifts in business. The second is that the expectation of reliability has become far higher. We are now, traditionally banks have aimed at 3 nines, 99.9% reliability. Today, it is quite routine for us to aim at 5 nines, 99.999% reliability. And that's partly because the outside world, the non-banking, the consumer world, the Facebooks of the world, the WhatsApps of the world, they are providing that kind of reliability. So people expect it in the digital world from banks as well. They don't say, oh, banks are complicated, so I'm going to allow for more failure. Huge increase across the industry is cybersecurity. The threats have changed, the actors have changed, the volumes have dramatically increased. In the pandemic, we've seen far more attempted cybersecurity hacks than we have seen in any other previous year. We've also seen the nature of hacks change a lot. Social engineering, remote takeover of phones and desktops, all these have become very common. Then you would not think of them as cybersecurity because finally he's using persuasion and traditional non-digital methods to convince you to give up. But the fact is, he is using it. Digital transactions have these weaknesses. The OTP is a weakness. If you give up your OTP, then you're no longer protected. If you give up your access to your computer and somebody else is able to access that computer remotely, you are no longer protected against the cybersecurity controls that we have set up. So we have to start setting up new cybersecurity controls. We have to start thinking of how to analyze whether this is the original user or a fraudster who has taken over the users. And we have seen a huge increase in these kinds of attacks. And we've seen, of course, tools have evolved to deal with these attacks. New techniques have evolved to deal with these attacks. This is a huge focus. I'm across the board, I see people pouring money into this. The third box that we have is a huge increase in regulatory compliance and things like tax evasion and anti-money laundering. Digital has made tax evasion both easier to detect and easier to execute. So therefore, we are focusing a lot on these bad actors, trying to detect them and making sure that their transactions are flagged and prevented and so on. And this has become quite a large focus of late as the transactions have gone largely digital. It is also because of the pandemic, because there were many economic shifts that led to responses like moratorium, like waiving of KYC rules, a shifting of KYC rules from physical KYC to video KYC. All these require a large response from the banking sector. And that's another place where if we are going to be successful as a digital business, we need to be very agile at the surrounding templates of digital. So KYC, anti-money laundering, fraud detection, regulatory changes, all these must happen much faster than they used to happen before. And we don't really have the luxury of saying drop in the floor, a human will do it manually because these transactions are straight through and high volume, high velocity. There's no way to drop them on the floor and expect a person to do it. So these are challenges this is the third big box of challenge that I see. It's a very high priority across the board. And I suspect every bank is pouring money into fixing these things.
Thanks for those insights, Shanky. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next is a session by our digital IT partner, Pure Storage. For this, I would like to invite Prakash Ramachandran, CTO of Byju's Learning App, and Sunil Chavan, Vice President Emerging Technology Solutions Sales, APJ at Pure Storage. We have Anup with us, who will lead this discussion. Over to you, Anup.
Hi, Prakash. Hi, Sunil.
Hi, Anup. How are you?
Good, doing good. Good to see you both.
Thank you.
So, Prakash, to start with, you have been instrumental in transforming Think and Learn from an offline educational services firm to the current avatar of Byju's, which as an online product company, that has redefined the way children learn. So tell us, how have you enabled this massive transformation? What were some of the key steps you took in preparing your technology stack for this shift? So over to you, Prakash.
Hi, Anup. So just to give a context, Byju's, as it's more popularly known, was when it started was a pure offline services kind of business. By that I mean, Byju himself used to take this offline classes where students used to attend. And it's in 2015 we started this whole transformation to become more of a pure online product company. Uh, to be frank, in the initial days, the major issue was like figuring out what is the right product that we want to deliver. How will it help the students, etc. So one of the key aspects of it was that always collect data when you are doing anything online and continuously iterate while you are looking at, hey, how does it actually improve my key performance indicators over there. From the technology aspect, what this meant was we had to initially itself build upon data and how do I actually help my engineers focus more on the product and the engineering aspects of it rather than doing the operation and other things. So a few of the things we did was we made a decision that we'll be cloud native from the beginning itself. And few of the challenges have been continuously, helping them deliver these things. Purely let them focus on the product side of things, and that's where we have played with several technologies, including how do I collect the data, where do I store it, what do I do for orchestration on containers so that the operational aspect of it is kept to a minimum, and as well as how do I actually develop things so that the students can actually do more things than just listen to a video or see a video right now.
Absolutely, Prakash. I think data today is so important that you just can't make any decisions, and you absolutely need to have the right platforms to store your data, and then slice, dice, and make meaningful outputs or outcomes from it. So Sunil, we just heard from Prakash, and one of the things he did speak about was containers, and you'll appreciate that containers are pretty much now a mainstay, with a large percentage of enterprises deploying containers in production across multiple environments. But this also leads to a range of associated data challenges. Now, Sunil, tell us, what are some of the key gaps you see, and how prepared are enterprises to address this growing challenge? Over to you, Sunil.
Yeah. I think, as Prakash highlighted, right, companies like Byju's who kind of got into the cloud native journey, a lot of enterprises are trying to get into that state. And when you talk about Kubernetes or containers, these are predominantly a stateless agile application, which really is the key focus and approach why Byju's and all customers want to go in that front, because that gives that agility which the data and the business require today. What we see currently, and a lot of our open source community has not really spent enough time to give that entire data strategy around Kubernetes application, where you want to have a backup or a DR, have enterprises are used to a 5 9 SLAs. I think those aspects are still a big gap, which we see, and that becomes a big challenge. A lot of enterprises to go in that journey of, having a end-to-end Kubernetes infrastructure for a specific application heading either to, revenue progression or cost optimization. I think that's the gap where Pure Storage has come into play, and we're trying to address that gap and work with people like Prakash to see and make them see how to make their journey towards a cloud native Kubernetes infrastructure strategy more efficient and scalable and consistent across, making sure it's the data strategy is taken into consideration. So I see that's a big gap today when you talk about adopting Kubernetes as an end-to-end strategy, having that challenge around having proper backup or a DR as we are currently used to in the enterprise space.
No, I think that's a good point, Sunil. I think data strategy is so important today, back to the right infrastructure. And I'm sure enterprises are pretty much working around that. But I'm glad to hear that Pure Storage is actually working with enterprises to kind of help them bridge this gap. Prakash, coming back to you, in the last 1.5 years, given the new normal, your platform has witnessed an unprecedented increase in volume. Now, Byju's added millions of new users since it announced free subscription during the last lockdown. How do you ensure that the app stays dynamic, scalable, and most importantly, secure while ensuring a compelling experience to the users? Prakash.
Yeah, for us, I think once the lockdown extra happened, there were two challenges, right? Byju's used to be a product which students used to use, not in isolation, but along with their schools. And the story around schools was not at all clear at that point of time. For us, it meant not just adjusting to the new levels of traffic that we were seeing, more students registering, using it on a more regular basis, but also with how do we help the students to adjust to this new normal. And there were certain new formats we had to introduce. Again, we had to try out a few things. Uh, to give a small example, we were mainly in what we call as the asynchronous video space, right? Students learn at their own pace. But once the schools were not there, we had to adjust. We had to create certain things for synchronous things too, in the sense that the students can log in, ask their doubts, have a certain session so that we can enforce certain discipline in them, etc. And also giving them more and more new ways of learning, in the sense that we had introduced a lot of interactive formats, etc. at that particular point of time. From the technology side, again, what it meant was to actually ensure that people can work independently, they can focus on delivering the feature they are working on rather than looking at the whole infrastructure aspects of it. How do we actually separate those things out, etc. That was the key challenge for the last one year.
Thanks for that, Prakash. Now, Sunil, clearly we'd like to understand from you. Tell us how Pure Storage is positioned to address enterprises' requirements around app mobility, availability, scalability, security, and most importantly, help customers ensure that they are able to deliver the same customer experience under all circumstances. We just heard from Prakash about how he's been kind of looking at things. So we'd like to get your perspective. So over to you, Sunil.
Yeah, I think as Prakash rightly highlighted, many of our customers have this unprecedented growth over the last 18 months for all the reasons we all know. And the digital business has grown. And, it's the growth has been so sudden and so quick to pivot to a new way of doing things, right? And a lot of people were kind of in the process of enterprises were asking us that if you're going that direction, how does this work and how can you help? On that front. So Pure has been in the forefront of data strategy related topic. And you look at, when it comes to all flash storage, we have been the leader in all flash space for last 7-8 years. We kind of got that new approach into a data strategy and digital transformation. And that gives us really a better TCO, and a lot of our customers around the world use it for that. And we saw this opportunity and we acquired this industry leading product or technology called Portworx, which really works in the Kubernetes natively. It really kind of embeds itself into Kubernetes ecosystem, whatever way you adopt Kubernetes, right? And open source, look at it in that point of view, and then it approaches it and gives us the persistent infrastructure layer in the background. So a customer like Byju's or any bank or any telco or a government can actually run their Kubernetes app as they're used to running, and Portworx as a technology, as a software, will be embedded into it and can attach this Kubernetes app to the data layer underneath that across any industry standard storage platform. It need not be Pure Storage. It could be any storage platform, or it could be on any cloud. It could be on AWS or Google or Azure and whatnot. So that really gave us that real true data agility and app mobility what's been looked at. Now this is more from a application integration and really giving that persistent data strategy to Kubernetes application. But the second aspect, which I highlighted as a key challenge, which people look at with Kubernetes application is, it doesn't have that backup and the DR, which really has been looked at. So in that sense, what Portworx does, it offers these features to that Kubernetes application so that data can reside on any public cloud or any enterprise storage the customer is using today, and really avail those features of having that infrastructure data strategy which they really are used to for any other application on any virtualization strategy. So that has really changed the way things really people are doing on Kubernetes. And we are seeing more and more people who are adopting container strategy, bringing it in-house on their data strategy. Portworx has become that consistent layer for them from pure storage, which doesn't bind them to buying Portworx pure storage. It can use any of their storage, but really allows them to be more agile and bring their Kubernetes application really to go to the next stage. And this is more like a software subscription model. It's nothing to do with you're buying something which you're getting locking into. So they're used to as a service model. They're used to how they work with open source Kubernetes environment. We just add one more layer to it, which makes it more persistent infrastructure to support this Kubernetes application.
Sure. Thanks for that, Sunil. Clearly, service models are gaining popularity for obvious reasons because it doesn't, lock you in, it doesn't tie you in. There's no capex. So we're seeing a lot of that, happening with enterprises across. Finally, Prakash, we'd like to, get your perspective around what would be your key suggestions to enterprises that are embarking on a transformative journey to become cloud and digital native. Prakash.
Yeah, I think past 1.5 years has actually shown that there is a lot of advantages to get once you are doing a lot of things online, and I think now I'm hearing from more and more people that what was in fact a IT requirement has suddenly become a business requirement right from the CEO, right? The only two things are a few things. There are advantages to doing certain things online. One, I would definitely say, always measure the data. Right? Measure the data and iterate. You don't need to wait for 1 year to create something. You can iterate and reach there. And the second part was like when I joined my first company, one of the GMs over there told me, don't never automate a manual process. Always obliterate it. Right? What he meant was, it's good to see as the manual process as a good place to start, but you don't need to actually automate it. There are a lot of other benefits you can get while automating. Remove the unnecessary ones whenever possible. So I think those were the main two things I look at when I'm actually trying to look at it from a digitization perspective.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Prakash. Well said. Actually, if you can't measure your data, you can't control it. So what you can't measure, you can't control. That's pretty much given. And you're absolutely right. If you can remove process steps, the manual steps completely, and automate other things, that makes a lot of sense. But I think well said on that, Prakash. So thank you so much for joining us today, Prakash and Sunil. I think that was quite insightful, and I wish you all the best with Byju's and with Pure Storage in kind of taking things forward. And keep safe, stay healthy, and I look forward to reconnecting with you once again in the near future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anup. Bye, Sunil.
Bye.
Thank you, gentlemen. That was indeed an interesting conversation and lot of takeaways for enterprises looking at adopting digital native architecture. Ladies and gentlemen, on your screen at the right bottom corner, you will see the survey tab. Do click on the tab, and once the page opens up, click on the Pure Storage logo to see the questions and respond. And you stand to win exciting gift vouchers worth ₹2,000. Fill in your answers quickly and get back to the main session. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome our independent keynote speaker, Ruchira Chaudhary. An alumna of the University of Chicago Booth School of Business, Ruchira straddles the corporate and academic worlds. She is a leading executive coach, adjunct faculty at several top-tier business schools. Ruchira has worked in emerging marketplaces in Asia, the Middle East, and North Africa, and holds a strong track record in making large-scale change agendas succeed, both from an advisory as well as in-house standpoint. Ruchira has held leadership roles in organizations like Medtronic and AIG in Singapore, Commercial Bank of Qatar in Qatar Telecom, and Tata Consultancy Services in India. She's going to be sharing with us key excerpts from her book, The Secret Code to Uncommon Leadership. Welcome, Ruchira.
Thank you so much, Aditya. It's a real pleasure to be here today. I'm really delighted to tell you more and share learnings from my book, Coaching the Secret Code to Uncommon Leadership. This is not a book about leadership. I have to be very candid. It's a book about making good leaders fantastic leaders, which you all are. It's a journey from being a good leader to a fabulous one or an extraordinary one. And coaching is that code or that key that unlocks this extraordinary or this uncommon leadership that I'm talking about today. You'll ask me, what is uncommon leadership? Uncommon leaders are those that take people with them in their journey. When they reach success, they ensure that everybody else around them is successful. They shine the light on others, and that makes them shine brighter. Mr. Ramadurai, Nandan Nilekani, Sheryl Sandberg, who's endorsed my book, Kiran Mazumdar Show, fantastic examples of uncommon leaders. These leaders understand that it's not just about making millions or building those vast empires, it's also about the journey. When you ruthlessly, relentlessly focus on elevating your people, you elevate yourself and your organizations. That's uncommon leadership. In the book, I've tried to start by distilling or crystallizing how coaching brings that difference between a good leader and a fabulous one. Right? So we start by building a business case of sorts. Why coaching? And why should you, the leader, be coaching? Then I try to move from the why to the how. How do the best in the business get it right? What are some of the tips and trips, some frameworks, some ideas, some things to help you embark on your leadership journey, your uncommon leadership journey, I should say, right? And then the last bit really then tries to focus on applying some of these in the context of, let's say, a crisis. Many of you have senior women leaders. How do you focus your energies in making these women leaders better leader coaches? How should you, the leaders of today, empower the leaders of tomorrow? That's what the book is all about. I've tried hard to make it a very breezy read. So lots of examples, lots of cricketing examples, examples from performing arts, from the movies. I did not want it to be an academic journal. I tried to provide those frameworks. I've tried to give you ideas and suggestions, but really it's all about you. It's you, the leader, who has to coach your way to uncommon leadership. And I sincerely hope you will. And I sincerely hope that you will shine brighter. And while you shine brighter, you will shine this light on others around you. I'm going to take some time now to show you some of the concepts and the frameworks I've tried to crystallize in the book. Let me show you that through a few slides. And I hope you can read up more on your own. Thank you. Coaching, The Secret Code to Uncommon Leadership by Penguin Random House. That's the book my wonderful publishers commissioned. I just moved to India from Singapore. I'd been away for 15 years. I had the opportunity to write a column for the Mint. Now, I should tell you that this is a topic that's really close to my heart. I'm very passionate about it. I teach about it at several business schools. I write about it in HBR. I write a column for the Mint. And of course, I'm a leadership coach. But I didn't get into coaching by design. I think in some ways it was just serendipity. I was exiting a very large financial services organization in Singapore. And honestly, the work culture was very toxic. I was at a stage in my life where I realized how debilitating it is to be part of a setup where there's a complete vacuum of any kind of coaching or enablement. But I have to be honest, by contrast, during my consulting career and otherwise, I had some fantastic clients who had morphed into coaches. I had good bosses, after all. So I figured I knew the difference between what it takes to be a good leader and a fantastic one. And coaching was what made that difference, coaching and enabling others. And I thought it was a powerful message. So when Penguin approached me, I thought this would be a fantastic time to amplify that message. So let's talk more about how coaching is that secret sauce of leadership. If you look at the book cover, in a sense, that's what coaching is for me. It's untangling those knots, right? You can see there's a big knot and then you untangle it, but it's not just untangling it, which a psychiatrist can do, a physiotherapist can do, a psychotherapist can do for you. Those knots get entangled, but then they take you higher. You soar higher and you shine brighter. That is the key message in the book. Let me move on to the next slide and tell you what I mean by coaching, right? If you sort of, punch in coaching, Google search, 800,000 hits when I was trying to write the book. I don't even know how many more there are now. But in a sense, this is the definition that is closest to how I describe coaching as a leader. It's a process whereby leaders maximize the current performance, but more importantly, the future potential of others through non-directive and self-enabling conversations. The keywords here are non-directive. So you're not telling people what to do, you're asking them. And self-enabling. These help you help yourself, self-enabling. Let's go on and drill this a bit deeper now. How can you, the leader as coach, take people to the next level? My next slide will tell you the difference between what a good coach does and what a mentor does. Because we tend to use these concepts, I think, rather loosely, rather interchangeably. At the bottom of the slide, there are two boxes, and these boxes will give you, the definition in more detail, right? So a mentor is really somebody who's been there, done it, typically older. And remember, the key difference here is a mentor is someone who gives you advice. They dispense wisdom. They tell you, right? A coach, on the other hand, helps you find the solutions for yourself. So a coach will ask, a mentor will tell. Coaches typically come in the form of your bosses in your own ecosystem. A mentor could be anybody, a family friend, a past client, a past boss. And so I guess the key difference is a mentor will guide your career journey or your journey per se. A coach will guide your current practice. A mentor watches you from the balcony. A coach is with you on the dance floor. So get both is what I would say. But please don't underestimate the importance of having a coach that asks you those powerful questions. Let's move forward. Right? So as I was saying earlier, just in a nutshell, a mentor is directive, brings wisdom and experience, older, influencer, gives advice, and guides your career journey. A coach, on the other hand, if I were to take you to the next slide, is non-directive, asks you probing and powerful questions, helps you find your own path, and guides your current practice, right? So let's move on more to understand the concept of this uncommon leadership. What is coaching and how does it link to uncommon leadership? So this is something I've used in the book, and you will see this come through in many different ways. This was a quote by Mahatma Gandhi for the people, and it really grabbed me. A sign of a good leader is not how many followers you have, but how many leaders you create. Let's talk about some of the uncommon leaders who have created other leaders, right? But before I do that, I get a common question from a lot of leaders, senior leaders, who ask me, why should you coach, right? I mean, you can easily outsource this to external coaches like me. But honestly, think about it. The world is changing. There's so much more we have to do now as leaders. We have to balance the financials. We have to look after governance. We have to look about building those reservoirs of human capital and obviously our customers. The business now is so complex and information is so dispersed that if we want to make faster decisions, we can't do it all. We can't and we cannot do it all. So we need to empower and build people around us. We need to ask them intelligent, powerful questions. So together, we can find the right solutions. The pandemic being the perfect example of that, right? I've got all of these statistics for you that you can read, right? We know that so much research is telling us our managers have the single greatest impact on turnover and retention. And remember, coaching is not just about a coachee. Coaching is also about you. It's about you becoming a more strategic and a better leader. Bottom line is, coaching is not a separate discipline. It's what you need to do. You have to be a leader and a coach. That's what makes you an uncommon leader. Okay, let's move forward and distill this further. Why should you coach? Just something I liked from Robert Kaplan. He's one of the authors of Balanced Scorecard. He basically says, if you're prioritizing something else over coaching, it's time for you to rethink your priorities. Coaching is your most important responsibility as a leader. You owe it to your people. Let me tell you more about what coaching can do for your people and for yourself. Moving on to the next slide. As I said earlier, this for me is a key message for you. Coaching is no longer a specialty. You cannot be a good leader or a manager without being a coach. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about what coaching will do for your coaches, right? What does coaching actually achieve? What are the key outcomes? And so I've tried to put together a model or a framework, which I'd like to show you in the next slide. Uncommon leaders, hard to define, and good leadership is even harder, but you can get people to follow you to the ends of the earth. Then you are a great leader. I think Indra Nooyi said that, but many, many other leaders have said that in different ways. Moving on to the framework now. Yeah. What does coaching achieve? I'm going to be very candid with you. I've been a coach for several years now. I teach this at many business schools. But as I was trying to sort of crystallize what coaching really does for somebody, I was at a loss. I heard a lot of people saying lofty things like it increases your ROI, it helps, makes people a better version of themselves, it brings out the best in them. But I really wanted to understand what it does. And so I wanted to put together a simple framework for you, the leader, as you decide to embark on this coaching journey. I call them the 4 cornerstones of coaching. It's a 4C plus model: capability, consciousness, confidence, and clarity. But all of that will come alive if we create an ecosystem or a culture. That's your last C. Let me tell you more about it in the next slide. Capability helps you and your people be the best that they can be, unleashes your unique potential, sparks creativity, innovation, lateral thinking, and helps you excel. I use the word hack, but what I'm saying is we no longer have to think about careers as vertical ladders, right? We can have squiggly lines, we can go up and down, and we can truly assemble our own ladders. But you, the coach, has to be the one that instills that desire for people to do things that they're passionate about and make them a better version of themselves. Consciousness is another word for self-awareness, right? The more you are aware of yourself, the better you are as a leader. Confidence is a self-belief to go forward. Clarity gives you direction. A lot similar to the visual on my book cover, untangling of the knot. That's what it does. It untangles and arranges those knots in your head. And to make all these cornerstones come alive, we need to create a culture of coaching. I think you're now ready to embark, hopefully, on that coaching journey. Let me show you more before I wrap up these slides. I should say one more thing. Please don't think that coaching is a very structured activity. It's something that you have to do in your conference rooms. You have to block time in your diaries. Yes, we're all very busy. We have fires to fight. We have customers. We have, financials to look after. Coaching can come in many ways. It can be the structured, formal conference room ones, the sessions that you have once a quarter. But coaching is also what happens informally in corridors when you bump into people. And I know it's so much harder now in the work from home world and perhaps now the blended hybrid reality. But please make those concerted efforts to have spontaneous interactions. WhatsApp messages, a phone call, a feedback in the moment. That's what coaching is all about. Not just the once a year performance review or structured meetings. Find that combination of shorter, informal, situational conversations and also those formal conversations. That's what makes you a great leader coach. Moving forward. So this is pretty much it, right? I think I've tried to tell you why you should coach, how coaching helps. But really, if you truly want to take your coaching to the next level, and I'm sure you already are doing it in some form or fashion, focus on a few things. What I call you'll see it in the book as well. It's called a lift-off checklist. Really make that effort to get to know yourself first. Reflect better, take that feedback from your circle of trust, and also get to know your people. Really try and forge those genuine bonds. Build those reservoirs of trust. Remember, coaching is not just soft and fuzzy and nurturing. You have to be directive sometimes. You have to be a tough love coach. You have to be a teacher. All of that is part and parcel of being a leader coach. Create a safe space for your people so they can be themselves. They can create, they can innovate, and they can do things differently. Shift your thinking gears, suspend judgment. And most importantly, have a growth mindset. Satya Nadella is a huge fan of that. That's really the belief that everybody can grow and everybody can become better than they are today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruchira. A powerful session on why leaders must move beyond conventional ideas and embrace a completely new model. Very interesting indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, next up is our data resilience partner, Rubrik.
Today, data is exploding, expenses around data are exploding, backup and recovery is non-functional and broken. Rubrik has the opportunity to take this new trend and create a new category.
At Rubrik, our vision is to change how enterprises manage their data. We have built the world's first cloud data management platform to deliver data protection, compliance, analytics, and copy data management capabilities for a hybrid cloud enterprise. We will democratize public cloud services for the enterprises.
As the product came into the market and users saw the power of the Rubrik system, the light bulb went on and they said, wow, if we really had the Rubrik platform, this is not about just modernizing our backup infrastructure. If we use this platform, we can change the reliability and the agility with which we run our businesses.
I haven't seen a company grow as fast as Rubrik is growing. And the kinds of serious accounts it's penetrating so quickly. That's very exciting.
Often when people ask me about Rubrik, I tell folks, just go look at the company's Twitter feed. It's not very often you see the amount of customer excitement that Rubrik has.
We've hit some type of a tipping point where the industry, the analysts, some very, very sophisticated blue chip customers have all endorsed and affirmed that Rubrik is the wave of the future, the next generation of technology.
They assembled one of the best technical teams I've seen in enterprise in a long while. And they have management that's moving so rapidly. They've gotten to market faster than most enterprise companies. They're ramping more rapidly. They're creating excitement. They're already starting to redefine a category. And that's exciting.
For this session on data resiliency strategies for business continuity in the digital economy, I would like to welcome Mr. Ritesh Gupta, Country Sales Director, Rubrik India, and Anup Mathur. Over to you, gentlemen.
Hi Ritesh, how are you doing?
Hey, hi Anup, I'm fine. How are you? Long time.
Absolutely, it's been a while, but good to see you. And thanks for joining us on the CIO Crown platform. Much appreciated. So, Ritesh, today cloud is the de facto platform, for enterprises to drive innovation and business resilience. And clearly, more and more workloads and data are now residing on the cloud. Now, this also means that tech leaders are faced with complex challenges around protecting the data and maximizing the value of data. So, what we'd like to know from you, Ritesh, is how do you see the landscape evolving in the current scenario given the new normal? And what are some of the near-term and long-term trends that will impact organizations' data transformation strategies, especially with respect to work from anywhere culture and the accelerated digital adoption? So over to you, Ritesh.
Yeah. So thanks, Anup, again for getting Rubrik as a data resilience partner for Core Media, and appreciate it. Coming to your point, yes, you are right, Anup. So customers are actually rethinking, their data management strategies and accordingly adopting the public cloud or private cloud basis, the security of the data, the accessibility, and how sensitive the data is. Now, out of which, if you see today, the large amounts of data is being generated, whether you take BFSI vertical, you take manufacturing, you have IoTs of the world today. So a lot of data has been generated or it is produced. And all the relevant landscapes are becoming increasingly complex. If you see, I will just give you an example. So what I personally feel that efficient handling of data, the storing of data, maintaining the data, the monitoring of data, and last but not the least, the analytics part will definitely take precedence over the last, what used to happen maybe 2 years back or 3 years back. Now, if you see the overall, the gamut of data, I personally feel with this work from home where, the data breaches is taking precedence. You hear a lot of stories about ransomware. You hear all the hackers, intruding into the networks. The data security will become very important. And as a part of a data transformation strategy, it will take a front seat, because I personally believe data security is a major challenge for every organization. And moving forward, the data protection will be moving from being an IT task, Anup, to a strategic boardroom discussion. So that is what I feel pertaining to data. And again, yes, you rightly said, most of the customers are moving towards work from home. So with remote working, I don't want to use the word pandemic. I think we need to move forward in life. But yeah, with remote working, the data privacy, data security, the data management will become the massive concern for every organization. So the enterprises need to implement a proper data infrastructure and build the organization so that they can utilize the full potential of the data which they are storing for them. So that's my viewpoint.
Sure, that's true, Ritesh. I think it's a very pertinent point that you bring on. See, today you can't make any decisions without the right data sets, right? And data is as good as as good as what you put into your system to get the kind of insights and analytics you need. So before we get into the unstructured data part, and I get your views on that. You again touched upon a very important point, which every time comes out when we talk about cloud adoption or anything which is a SaaS model. So tell us, what is Rubrik's approach towards data privacy and data security?
Okay. Anup, firstly, as a fast-growing software-defined data management company, Rubrik is poised to support the enterprises bringing their static data to life. And we have modernized and automated the cloud data protection and also the security that covers workloads across on-prem and the public cloud. Now, the cost of data breach and non-compliance with respect to the data privacy regulations are increasing today. And as I said earlier, with the surge in data, it's hard to track at-risk data. The data can be on-prem, can be on the fly, moving from on-prem to public cloud, or the data which is sitting on the public cloud. Now, this is a kind of a time-consuming activity and definitely a manual process. Now, with Rubrik multi-cloud data control, the products and services are regularly and independently verified against the industry's leading compliance, privacy, and security standards to help support your organization's compliance needs. So we leverage the secure components, such as you have FIPS 140 secured, as a kind of a certified encryption solution, which helps to protect our customer data. Now, Rubrik's comprehensive data management platform helps you to address rigid data protection policies regarding confidential data or sensitive data, such as, for any healthcare customer, the PHI data, so-called, we call it as a protected health information, or a personal identified data, which is a PII. It can be your credit card data, correct? Now, this is the secure data. So the data compliance, this can be your GDPR compliance, this can be PCI DSS compliance, or this can be a HIPAA compliance. So Rubrik's encryption at rest and in-flight capabilities help safeguard the customer's data, which supports the data security and regulatory compliance from the customers. So that is the Rubrik's approach, in short, to handle the data privacy and data security.
Excellent. Now, Ritesh, with the digital disruption that's today taking place, and everybody's pushed into a digital world, whether you like it or not. So there's a lot of unstructured data, and that's the growth we are seeing significantly, right? Which means that you are collecting data from multiple channels that come in, and data is not as simple as what it used to be earlier. So with this growth, in the unstructured data, how does Rubrik handle the unstructured data piece?
Okay, that's a very great question, because there's a lot of unstructured data, which is getting generated. You have IoTs of the world. In fact, our Aadhaar card data is kind of an unstructured data. So today, businesses are experiencing a tremendous rise in the unstructured data like never before. In fact, some 80% of the global enterprise data, which is driven or which is generated today, is nothing but an unstructured data. It's everywhere. Your text files, your emails, your social media, your digital images, your instant messages, your sensor data. We are all using today Fitbit. So most of the folks, I also need a Fitbit. We use this Fitbit, right? So this is our sensor data.
Right.
All this data, Anu, is classified as unstructured data. And majority of this the data which is generated is stored in the files, billions and trillions of files. So as an industry, Rubrik is looking to discover, protect, archive, and extract the real business value from this unstructured data, which actually is hidden in the files. So you need somebody to extract this information, make it relevant, correct, to the customer or to the consumer, apart from protecting this data. So Rubrik not only helps with direct archival to a kind of a low-cost storage, which brings down the TCO for the customer, but also helps to provide a Google type search, a versioning kind of it for a customer. And thus, it helps to free up the front-end expensive storage tier. Because storage is costly, Anup, at the end of the day. We also help ensure that your unstructured data is compliant with the governance model. And I did mention in my last response about the GDPR or PCI DSS or a HIPAA compliance. So we do ensure that the unstructured data is compliant with our governance models that today's enterprises have to adhere to. And one testament to that is our recent acquisition. We acquired a company called Igneous that takes the capability of unstructured data to the next level. And we are actually leading with our Igneous solution. That's our USP globally to handle the unstructured data. When I say handle, again, all about the protection of the data, recovery, archival, and lastly, very, very important, but to get the real business value.
Excellent. I think that's quite refreshing to hear, Ritesh, because clearly there is a pressing need to have players like you in the market who can actually work on unstructured data and help enterprises and organizations decipher that into meaningful data sets that come out, because a lot of the smart decision making is purely dependent on how good your data insights are for you to go back to the management or take it to a boardroom conversation. So
correct.
And congratulations and all the best on your acquisition that you just mentioned. Moving forward, and before I let you go, Ritesh, I'd like to know, or rather, for the audience, tell us how Rubrik is positioned to address the data pain points of Indian enterprises. It would be great if you give us an overview of the work you have been doing in India in different industries. Maybe you could talk about a couple of customers that you are working with. So, would love to hear that from you, Ritesh.
Okay, so Anup, a very good question and more pertinent to Indian geography and Indian set of customers. So Rubrik is one of the fastest growing organization. We are an 8-year young company. I will say, I'll not say 8-year-old company. I'll say 8-year young company, and we are the fastest movers in the data protection and recovery space. So as a fast growing software defined data management organization, Rubrik is poised to support enterprises, as I said, bringing their static data to life. We have modernized and automated the cloud data protection and security that covers workloads across whether it is on-prem or it is on public cloud. And we've also enabled the customers to back up the information digitally and put it to work. That's the analytical piece, which I've already spoken about, the unstructured part. It can be databases, it can be files, it can be any workload for that matter, which is running in your data center. So our goal in a nutshell is that wherever you are running your application, and it can be your public or on-prem or hybrid cloud, okay, Rubrik provides you a solution to holistically manage and extract value from your data. So we have revolutionized the cloud data management, the cloud data protection, with a USP around protection from ransomware attack. Trust me, Anup, every minute, I'm sure every minute a business around the globe is impacted by ransomware. Correct? So gone are the days where backup was given a secondary treatment. Okay, every customer has a backup. Backup was being treated like an insurance policy. But today, we know that when a ransomware attack happens, the first data which is impacted or deleted or encrypted is your backup copy. So the USP of Rubrik, apart from a normal data protection, data classification, data management, is how do we commit to the customers that we will definitely give your data back, correct? In case anything goes wrong with respect to a kind of hacker entering your network or a ransomware attack happening. So what we have done, what we have revolutionized, to be precise, we have brought the security very close to the data rather than we having a front end security. See, all this security processes or your on the network, everything is important, but it is very critical to have the security very close to where the data resides. So as I said, Rubrik helps the customers basically to respond to threats, respond to the regulatory compliance, a ransomware proof backup. We also proactively help the customer for anomaly detection. And lastly, the data governance part. So due to NDAs, with our respective customers in India, I will not be able to take the customer names, Anup, but I'll give an example. So if I have to classify in two ways, one is on data recovery, and another is on ransomware, protection from ransomware. So we have one customer in India, specifically from FSI. So there was a SAN storage outage, at a customer, and obviously the data was being backed up at Rubrik. Within seconds, trust me, within seconds, we made the data accessible directly from Rubrik to the customer. So that was a recovery time objective. See, every customer takes backup today, but how many customers have thought about the recovery time objective? So recovery time objective is something which we commit to the customers with. But when we go and meet the customer today, the functions around immutability, the append-only file system, the data recoverability, and lastly, we have an AI ML engine wherein customer can proactively run the reports and see whether there is an anomaly which is being detected proactively by Rubrik. So that is another USP, Anup, wherein Rubrik solution is helping the customers in India, specifically around data security and data privacy. See, data protection is no go. That's our bread and butter, right? So we have shown the RTOs, as I said, the recovery time objective in seconds. But data security and data compliance is something is our USP which we are delivering in the best way to our customers.
Thanks a lot, Ritesh, for joining us, and wishing you all the best for the future. So stay safe.
You, Anup, thanks, Anup, and best wishes to the core media team. Thanks for having us here. Okay, stay safe and thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Disrupt with digital. Thank you, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, on your screen at the right bottom corner, you will see the survey tab. Do click on the tab and then click on the Rubrik logo to see the questions and respond. And remember, you stand to win exciting gift vouchers worth ₹2,000. Fill in your answers quickly and get back here with us. In our next C-Suite Digital Vision session, we are joined by Ms. Kirti Patil, Joint President, IT and CTO, Kotak Life Insurance, to share with us the future outlook for the insurance sector. Over to you, Kirti.
Thank you so much, Aditya. It's my pleasure to be here. Customer awareness and demand for insurance protection has been on the rise, making insurance a nudge product, if not a pull product. Increasing digital adoption and comfort on digital transactions have made the insurers relook at the operating models to be relevant to the changing customer mindset. The role of technology is now transcending beyond just the replacement of physical processes to enhancing the overall customer experience in the value chain, and at the same time giving better efficiencies and costs to the organizations. What are the key digital and technology priority areas for the insurers today? The first one is superior customer experience and a stronger relationship with the customers. And what are the technology imperatives to achieve that? deploying analytics to understand customer behaviors and needs so as to recommend personalized, relevant, and timely solutions with the aim to establishing a very strong relationship with the customer. Second technology imperative is designing pre-approved offers for a seamless purchase journey and leveraging technology in product designs and innovations. For example, behavior based rewards or pricing. The second key area is increasing penetration. And how do we do that? By leveraging technology to widen the market reach in a cost efficient manner, by improving the self sourcing experience of the customers. Two, by empowering the distribution with innovative digital tools and solutions for a quality advisory and remote sourcing of business, nearly eliminating the need for having physical branch offices. The third key area is improving operational efficiencies and costs. And how do we do that? By augmenting the use of RPA, AI, ML, predictive analytics in wider areas in business operations like sales management, customer and employee onboarding, risk management, fraud detection, underwriting, and claims. The true metric of success will be when these initiatives and enablers are able to elevate the overall customer experience at a level at par with retail digital platforms. And I'm happy to say that the life insurance industry is all set to make this true for its customers.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Kirti. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Next up is our data center transformation partner, Webworks and Iron Mountain. I would like to invite Mr. Michael Goh, Senior Director, Iron Mountain, and Mr. Nikhil Rathi, founder at Neosoft Technologies Webworks Data Centers. In this session, Redefining the Data Center Space, we have Michael and Nikhil in conversation with Anup to talk about the recent joint venture between the two companies and what it means for Indian enterprise customers.
Hi Nikhil, hi Michael, how are you today?
Doing well. Thanks for having us here, Anu.
Excellent, pleasure to have you over. Firstly, I'd really like to congratulate you both on the joint venture between Webworks and Iron Mountain Data Center. And I think India and corporate needs a lot more like these, but wishing you all the best. So to begin with, Nikhil, what we'd like to understand is, see, the joint venture between Iron Mountain and Webworks is being widely discussed in the data center space. Now, this JV places Webworks among the select few data center operators with both hyperscale and dense interconnection expertise. Now tell us, what does this JV mean for Indian enterprises looking at adopting hybrid models? Over to you, Nikhil.
Yeah. So, Anup, the co-location, in a data center is the central location for any hybrid or multi-cloud strategy that an enterprise has. An enterprise, if they are trying to navigate through this hybrid and the multi-cloud sea that's out there, they need to be in a data center. But what's more important is that a data center which is highly interconnected provides immediate access to internet exchanges as well as direct. See, when you want to do a multi-cloud strategy along with the hybrid cloud, you need to have cloud on-ramp facilities available. So Webworks was the most and is the most carrier dense location in India, and what that makes it possible for any enterprise in India to jump off and use us as the jump off point to jump into the cloud ocean that's out there. Now, Iron Mountain, right, is a globally trusted brand. It's since its foundation in 1951, Iron Mountain has been the when it comes to your mind, anything that is storage, right, legal papers or anything that you want to securely store. If you're in the United States, the only thing that comes to mind is the Iron Mountain box and the Iron Mountain location. So natural evolution into the data center space. And Iron Mountain is such a trusted brand that when we were out looking for a partner, that was the right partner to have in our JV to bring not just the security and the we bring the interconnection. Iron Mountain understands the interconnection. They also have well interconnected data centers. They've got about 15 facilities worldwide, and added to that 3 of ours. I think this place and this ecosystem of ours, the JV ecosystem, provides the right jump off point or the launch pad for any enterprise to use this, or any CIO CTO to use this, not just in India but also in the global platform that's available now with the 15 data centers of Iron Mountain and 3 of ours. So anytime they want to have a multi-cloud strategy, they want to have geographically located hybrid clouds, and they want to basically make sure that even an international MNC, if the MNC wants to have use something in London, use something in the US, and use something in India, we're the right partner to basically be there. So that's what we bring on the table. We're bringing in 12.5 megawatts of capacity online shortly in India for the enterprises to use, and we're looking forward to working in India to make sure that our JV brings that value which CIOs and CTOs are looking for to deploy their hybrid cloud strategy in India.
Excellent. And I think, Nikhil, you're absolutely right. Iron Mountain is a name to reckon with, established globally very well. So, Michael, the next question, of course, is for you. Now, we know that Iron Mountain is an established name globally, and with this JV, India is becoming a strategic market for you. So tell us, how are you planning to leverage, the Webworks experience, knowledge, and footprint for the Indian market, and what are the potential opportunities you're foreseeing in India? Michael.
Yeah, I think as what Anuj, as what you correctly say, I think, and as what Nikhil has just mentioned, Iron Mountain, we have been in the business for 70 years, right? Of course, not as a data center, but as a record management business. So 70 years is a long time for any company, and there's not that many companies that can do the business well and grow the business for 70 years and manage to expand the business from a traditional record management company to now data centers, right? So that itself sends a very strong message, right? Because we are a very stable company, right? For a company to be there for 70 years and we expect to be operating for many, many years to go, our customers, when they are with us, they expect stability. They expect us to expect when they come to a provider to be there for the next 5 to 10 years and even longer, right? They do not expect a change of ownership easily, and that's the kind of stability that we bring forward to our customers. So when we talk about expanding our business, especially the data center business, we are now going through a phase where Iron Mountain is investing a lot in the data center business because we see that as the next growth of our business, right? So we have expanded, like what Nikhil has mentioned previously. We previously had 15 data centers worldwide. Today, with the Webworks, we have 18, and we are continuing to expand, right? So what we bring to the table now is that Webworks is already an established brand now in India. They know that they have the know-how. They know how to bring in the carriers. They know how to bring in to construct data centers. But what Webworks do not have previously was the global customers that Iron Mountain can bring to the picture. So Iron Mountain has been in the business 70 years. We have 230,000 customers, right? So these customers, many of these customers trust us, has been with us for many years. And when we move to a new market like India, we expect this group of customers to follow us to go into India as well, right? So, and when they go into a new market like India, there are two things they're looking for. One, they expect a similar customer experience, right? Whether be it they are in our facility in US, in Europe, or in Singapore, they expect the same customer experience as what they have in India. And customer experience meaning that we talk about the reliability, the kind of stability, which is the most important part of the business for any co-location customers. And Webworks itself bring in expertise. They know how to bring in the connectivity. They know how to construct. Iron Mountain can bring in from a design and perspective where we know what our customer wants. And couple all these together, we believe we have a very strong partner there in India for us to grow and capture the huge market that we have in India.
Excellent. So, Michael, clearly, when you say 70 years, that automatically places you as a very mature industry leader and by default a very stable player in the market. And I think you touched upon customer experience, which is so important in today's day and age, to have that seamless experience, because as enterprises, are charting their growth path, they need partners like yourselves to, kind of see through, their business promise. See, today Webworks is hosting all major carriers, right? ISPs, CDNs, and enterprise customers. However, the hyperscale market has not been on the radar for Webworks so far in India. So how is the Iron Mountain data center partnership going to fuel worldwide expansion for Webworks into all hot markets, to deliver to both hyperscalers and enterprises?
Yeah. So, like what you correctly mentioned, Webworks currently do not have hyperscales, but the fact is Iron Mountain hyperscales are already part of Iron Mountain's ecosystems now, right? They are present in many of our facilities worldwide. So each of the hyperscales have its own unique design and requirements, right? And what Iron Mountain brings to the table is these customers already have what Nikhil has mentioned previously. These customers have a contract with Iron Mountain. So for them to expand into India, okay, we talk about one way first. For them to expand in India, it's easy because they can utilize the existing contracts that they have, right? And with that, we believe the hyperscales will start to be in our platform in India. We will start to get them as customers in India, and we will grow the footprint significantly in India together with Webworks and with these hyperscales. That's one. The other thing we talk about is how will Webworks contribute in terms of globally, in terms of Iron Mountain worldwide facility in that sense, because Webworks is very experienced in terms of the way they manage to get connectivity. They are good in terms of creating relationship with the I-axis, right? So in the data center, the more connectivity you have, the more ecosystems you have, and add on from the Webworks experience together with the Iron Mountain connectivity experience, we expect a huge ecosystem, which will not just benefit the enterprise customers. The ecosystem does benefit the hyperscale customers as well, which the hyperscales are actually part of a huge network ecosystems where we talk about cloud on-ramps. Our customers who want hybrid cloud connections will want to connect to the hyperscales as well, right? So, and vice versa. So with this group of experience, our customers in India, Webworks customers in India, now can expand globally to all our facilities worldwide, and can be expected to connect to all these hyperscales. And our hyperscale customers can now be expected to co-locate with us in India, right? And work together to create a huge ecosystem globally.
And we're looking forward to provide that as a as a service available to all the enterprises to use right away.
Sure. And finally, Nikhil, before I let you go, what are Webworks' immediate and future expansions, post the JV?
So, well, we are focusing on not just developing our existing markets. We're already present, like I said, in Mumbai, Pune, and Delhi. We are expanding maximum in Mumbai right now. So those markets will see us deploy a double-digit megawatt supply available to be picked up not just by enterprises but by scalers as well. And that also means that the enterprises should be arm's length away from the hyperscaler. So the stuff that runs the cloud also runs the enterprise, right? So we bring that. Apart from that, we are scaling up our Mumbai 2 facility, which is coming up, like I mentioned, 12.5 megawatts coming shortly, probably around 2022. We should have that ready for service. And we have expansion plans in Bangalore. We are already on the verge of closing that out, and having a Bangalore data center ready as well in 2022. Hyderabad is coming, Chennai is coming. We'll be available across all metros. So CIO, CTOs, whether you've got an operational branch office, even down to Kolkata, you can actually rely on us to deploy your branch setup as well at one of our facilities. So you can have a rack co-location available in Kolkata or in Hyderabad or in Chennai or in Bangalore. And you can use our primary site, which is Mumbai, or vice versa, or Noida for that matter. So we're looking at expanding pan-India, being available across India, across all major metros, so that any client, anywhere, right, can leverage the entire India platform. Apart from that, we've just made the announcement that we are investing about 750 crores in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu for the data centers. These will all be top of the line tier 3 facilities available. And each one will have a potential of about 20 megawatts, and Chennai will probably have a potential even beyond 20 megawatts because it's got cable landing substations and all over there. The subsea cables land over there. So someone having maybe a enterprise having stuff in Singapore can use the subsea cable and have their point of entry at or port of call at Chennai, right? So the next 18 to 24 months is really exciting for us, where we are bringing in the scale, we're bringing in the interconnectivity, we're bringing in so many more options. We're also partnering with Nutanix and others, so customers can use a trusted platform to come in. There's a number of announcements that will come through. We will be expanding our Noida data center as well. So you should expect a lot of excitement coming in the next 18, 24 months. And enterprises, CIOs, CTOs should be excited that they've got a great partner on the horizon who existed, which they can use to scale up their IT ops and to strengthen their IT ops, right?
Excellent. Thanks for that, Nikhil, and thanks for that, Michael. And congratulations once again, and wishing you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anup.
Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your roadmap with our audience. Ladies and gentlemen, on your screen at the right bottom corner, you will see the survey tab. Do click on the tab, and once the page opens up, click on the WebWorks Iron Mountain logo to see the questions and respond. And you stand to win exciting gift vouchers worth ₹2,000. Fill in your answers quickly and get back to the main session. We are all set to release our annual CIO Outlook Survey 2021 Business Pulse Report, and you will receive your copy soon. We thank all the CIOs for their overwhelming response and for participating in the survey by sharing their valuable inputs. Next up is a C-suite digital vision message from Satish Panchapakesan, Senior Vice President and CIO from Arvind Fashions, representing the retail industry. Over to you, Satish.
Thank you, Aditya, and good evening, friends. As far as the topic today is concerned, let me kind of take it in 3 dimensions. Especially for the retail industry, it's all about the customer first. It's about our product. It's about our employee experience. And we have done significant changes or transformations over the last 18 odd months in a very systematic and a very quantum way sometimes to be what we are. And that's the way we see progressing ourselves, from this point onwards. Customer first. Customer has now become ubiquitous for us. Anywhere, anytime. It's no longer the 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. store footfall and the moment of truth that you need to wait for. The moment of truth is really every second of the day, right? So we need to be absolutely prepared for the best of what we can offer in terms of our style, in terms of our options, our sizes, and ensure that we seize that opportunity to satisfy the customer. Second is product. Work from home, the flexi models, so on and so forth, have significantly changed the way we actually dress, the way we actually look at apparels as a concept. Perhaps it's been a decadal or even a once-in-a-lifetime change that most of the product companies in the segment have actually experienced. So the big change as far as the way we perceive this change, this transformation, is more about not focusing more on your seasons, and your time of the year, be it festival, be it non-festival seasons. It's actually about the core merchandise, which is really based on the see now, buy now concept, right? Where you have to really look at seasons as perhaps a day at the minimum, or maybe weeks, if not months. So that has actually transformed the entire thought process through which we actually procure, through which we actually stock, through which we replenish, and through which we serve the customers. Third, and not the least, is the employee experience. This has been a great opportunity for digital immigrant employees who've actually adapted themselves to technology probably over the last decade or so, to make the whole experience of dealing with technology a lot more seamless, to learn a lot more, and to become some kind of low-code specialists at the least. This has been also an opportunity where, as an organization, we've had opportunity to provide a lot of experiences on the digital, on the apps, from simple things like applying for a leave, or maybe writing up the performance review of a peer, or maybe even downloading a salary slip or a promotion letter, right? All of that just in the comfort of an app, and actually getting to start being comfortable with that type of a transformation, be it whether you're an associate in the store or you're an executive in the head office. That has actually been a significant transformation in the experience that we've been able to bring for the employees. We look forward to some very exciting times in what has been a once-in-a-lifetime change for all of us. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of inviting our digital transformation partner, Symphony Summit AI. In this session, the Digital Transformation Pioneers titles, powered by Symphony Summit AI, will be unveiled. The Digital Transformation Pioneers recognizes technology leaders who are instrumental in delivering advances in customer experience, operational efficiency, and competitive edge, helping their organization to be on the fast track to growth. But before we call out the names of the digital transformation pioneers, we have with us Satyen Vyas, CEO of Symphony Summit AI, in conversation with Anup. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hi Satyen, how are you doing?
Hey Anup, how are you doing? Good to see you.
Likewise, Satyen. Likewise, it's good to see you. I hope everything's good at your end, family, colleagues, all keeping safe and healthy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Anup. All is good. I hope same is with you and the team. Really would have loved to do this in person, but no, good to do it this way.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Satyen, I understand you have a few slides that you would like to present to our audience, and I would invite you to kind of come and do the presentation first, and then we can get into our conversation post that. So over to you, Satyen.
Yeah, thank you, Anup. I have about few slides, so I'm sharing my screen now. All right. So thank you again, Anup, and let me walk the audience through an interesting conversation about how can we reimagine employee-first digital experience with Symphony Summit AI. Now, as most of us know, Symphony Summit AI has emerged as a disruptor in the IT management space. Starting in India sometime in 2014, we have rapidly grown across all the major markets in the world. Now we have customers in North America, starting from North America, Europe, Middle East. Of course, India is our key market, as well as Japan. And while we are doing this, we are also actively disrupting the leaders in the IT management space. As you can see, Symphony Summit AI is now the most preferred enterprise class ITSM product, especially against the leaders such as the names that you see on the screen. Gartner Customer Choice Peer Insights continue to rate us higher than others, and pretty much on all parameters we are doing pretty well. So we are growing in India, globally, as well as disrupting the leaders in the space that we are playing today. Also, back home in India, thanks to you, we have continuously been recognized as CIO choice for IT operations management. Now 4 years in a row, we are CIO choice in our space. So while all that is great, today I really do not want to talk about ITSM or IT operations management, but want to bring a totally different perspective about how one can reimagine employee-first digital transformation with Symphony Summit AI Enterprise Service Management Suite. Now, we all know that digital transformation has been talked about for last few years, and the need for such transformation has actually accelerated, especially under the COVID-19 pandemic. Close to 70% of companies and boards report that they have actually accelerated the digital business transformation initiatives due to the pandemic. Over 90% of Indian CIOs are reporting that they are using digital channels more effectively to reach out to customers. And over 80% of Indian CIOs are talking about how can they use digital transformation to release services and products faster to the market. Now, we know that as the world moves more digital, all the enterprises need to continue to evolve in this part of the investment. But an interesting observation here is that most of the transformation initiatives are customer centric, and which is what it should be, because all of us are there to serve our customers, and bring the best technology to serve our customers is important. But we need to keep in mind that who serves our customers? Our customers are served by our employees and extended teams, such as agents, partners, and ecosystem of such as. So what is your digital strategy for employee first experience? And that is a question that I want to kind of present here, because we strongly believe that no transformation, no digital transformation is complete unless it is driven from inside and outside the organization. So not only that, there should be a digital first initiative for the customers, but also a similar initiative has to be there for the employees for the entire transformation to be more effective. Let us take a look at a typical employee that we have in the company. Now we know that all of us spend about 40% of our waking hours at work, but we also spend a lot of time at home being a consumer. And as you know, as the technology has evolved, and especially during the pandemic, as a consumer, we are getting very comfortable using digital channels to get all the products and services delivered to us. And look at some of the names here. Getting a taxi or getting groceries delivered, getting food delivered, or buying stuff from Amazon or Flipkart. The people, all of us are consumers are getting very comfortable using technology to get our services and products delivered to our home, which has of course gotten more accelerated in the recent times due to pandemic. And you notice that all of this has a very common theme. The technology is easily accessible, it is intuitive and menu-driven, it is predictable. You continuously get updates and alerts as to what's going on to your service or product requested, and most of them deliver within a promised SLA, and they are making sure that consumers, the employee who is a consumer for them, is happy consuming their services and products. Take this to the office. And what we see is that even today, most companies are using older technologies such as email, documentation, telephone, to get employees their services delivered within the companies. And at times, you also see that employees move from function to function because newer processes also require multifunctional collaboration, and then the email chain just flows, and maybe a lot of productivity is lost in that whole process because there is no track or no clear SLA that employees are promised when they are being served by the internal functions. Now imagine that you can bring the same consumerized experience to your employees within the office, where all the enterprise functions can deliver services to the employees pretty much in the same manner as they are comfortable using on the personal basis. A single service portal that is easy to access, intuitive, available omni-channel. Omni-channel as in not just the website, but also mobile and telephone and email, as well as the new way of engaging, which is through a chatbot. Multi-tenanted, so that you can have multiple divisions, multiple functions uh, working together in a collaborative manner, flexible, predictable, and every employee service is delivered under an SLA. That would mean that the employees will not only get the great customer experience internally, but also that whole digital transformation initiative that we are talking about for the customers can also be enhanced by the internal initiatives focused on employee experience. Symphony AI Enterprise Service Management Suite offers exactly that. We are started at IT service management technology, but we quickly realized that the same workflows and same SLAs can be delivered by multiple functions to the employees and also to each other. And with that, now Summit has an option to extend the same workflows to all other functions in the enterprise. And that is Summit AI Enterprise Service Management Suite. A quick look of what we have on offer. This is the entire offering that we have from Summit AI. It is an integrated AI-driven IT and enterprise management suite with 4 key offerings: IT service management, which is our mainstay, and this ITIL verified IT service management, which is what most of our customers are using today. Now, employee service management, which is what I mentioned, driving digital experience for employees within the enterprise. Asset management to get control of all the technology and non-technology inventory within the enterprise, and service automation. Now, service automation and Cindy, these are the 2 areas that we have been making a lot of investment, where Cindy is our virtual agent, basically stands for Conversation Interface and Decisioning Engine. With Cindy and service automation, we can bring all these workflows together and automate up to 40% of them across IT and non-IT functions. And all of this in a single platform where an enterprise can use Summit AI to deliver all these services and functionalities across all functions such as IT, HR, facilities, finance, marketing, legal, etc. Effectively, what we believe is Symphony Summit AI is your digital transformation partner for driving employee experience digitally. That's basically what I want to talk about Symphony Summit. We can reach out to my colleagues in India. Sri Krishna is our head of sales in India and Middle East, and Raj is head of marketing for India, Middle East, and Southeast Asia region. So that's all I have about what I want to talk about today. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for that, Satyan. I think you've picked up a very important point, which is around employee experience. And I'm just going to use a quote from what J.W. Marriott said. He said that you take good care of your employees, and they'll take good care of your customers, and the customers will come back. And therefore, employee experience is so important. But Satyan, I agree with you that organizations aren't doing enough to deliver great experiences for employees. But I want to ask you, what is it that they should be doing? How can organizations create a consumerized way of delivering services?
Yeah, so Anup, if you look at an enterprise, almost any transaction can be classified as a service request and service delivery, right? Because I'm looking for a business card for my travel, can be a service request. So I'm looking for a cab for my airport transfer. That's a service request. I'm looking for a new laptop. That's of course the IT service request, right? And many a times, some of these requests can cut across multiple functions. Take an example of an employee onboarding, for example. You hire a new employee, now you have to provide the technology, you have to provide the space, you have to provide the admin access facilities and all of that, right? It can actually, the complexity of workflows can be very complex if you do it over a traditional email or paper-based technology, right? Now, you can imagine a system which can execute all of these workflows seamlessly and without, of course, any drop in the responsibility of various functions, right? That is what we're talking about, creating a single service portal for employees across multiple functions, as well as between the functions as well, to make sure that every transaction that is a service request can be delivered as a service delivery from to each other. And then you bring in newer technology like AI and automation, and you can see a great opportunity to automate quite a few of them, thereby both increasing the speed of employee service and, in general, the entire enterprise productivity. So I think the advice would be that as enterprises are looking for making investment, they should look at technologies such as Symphony Summit AI, which are offering consumerized employee service portals across multi-functions in the enterprise.
So, Satyan, tell us specifically, since you kind of just mentioned, how can Summit AI help organizations over here?
So, Anup, we are positioning Symphony Summit AI as a backbone for enterprise digital transformation. You know, Symphony Summit AI being a common service portal with omni-channel access, which means you can obviously access Summit AI through um, web portal. You can access Summit AI through email to you can write email to Summit AI, for example. You can also have a telephony integration. But more and more people are using mobile access. Summit AI in your pocket, as well as Cindy, which is your virtual agent. You can converse with Cindy as if Cindy is your virtual colleague and then get service done. We're talking about being being a digital transformation backbone. You can do a lot of stuff with Summit AI. First is that you can launch newer services at a lightning speed with an easy to configure service management portal. We are seeing customers launching services like going back to workplace or managing COVID vaccinations. Within our company also, when we had oxygen concentrators being distributed for needy employees and their families, we had used that workforce. It was like launching uh, 10 minutes flat because it's very easy to launch, right? Uh, Drive employees to self-serve using knowledge intelligence with a solid knowledge management platform that we have within Symphony Summit. I mentioned about AI and automation to auto-resolve requests and service requests and tickets within the company. Uh, Also, the importance of driving cross-functional collaboration across multiple functions, as some of the requests can move from one to another function, as I mentioned, like employee onboarding here. You can drive all of that. And not least, but last but not the least, is that at the leadership level, you can have a complete map of how each function is performing, what are the SLAs, what are the improvement opportunities, and then bring that to the next version of configuration to make sure that it is, you have continuous service improvement on all functions, not just IT. Now, all of this is available on Summit AI, which is a next generation AI-driven multi-tenant platform. Now we have an advantage of being somewhat younger in the industry, and then we have used the most advanced component in our technology. So it's a next generation AI-driven multi-tenant platform with no code and low code technology. That means you can actually use it without a lot of certifications and knowledge needed with the administrator. And Summit is also easy and open to integrate with other technologies in the enterprise. So clearly, the whole gamut of the technology, the ease of use, the functionality, and collaboration and productivity is what Summit AI can offer for the customers.
Thanks for that, Satyan. So clearly, you are transforming experiences, across the board for customers, and congratulations for that. Satyan, finally, we heard about your new initiative, the IT Hero Rises. Can you talk briefly about that?
So, Anup, if you go back to the time when COVID was very strange and new pandemic for all of us, I'm talking about March, April, May timeframe, the world had come to standstill, and you have seen that most of our IT leaders here, they responded rapidly and swiftly for the new business requirement of working from home, making sure security is taken care of, and making sure that the business continuity is not disrupted. And I think we can all pride ourselves for doing a great job here, because as you look at the business environment today, except for a small dip in the stock market around that time, things are pretty much back to normal. Of course, there are challenges of the pandemic that will have to be faced. In this process, what we learned that there are many individuals within enterprise IT teams who have gone beyond the call of duty. Sometimes at the cost of their personal comforts and personal challenges. We have had situations where people have traveled to office on a motorbike in rains just to make sure that some service is not going down, or deprioritize their personal commitment to focus on business continuity requirement of the work. What we are doing is at Symphony Summit AI, we are now recognizing these individuals, and not just for the COVID pandemic, but in general, the way IT services business, which is mostly hidden because if everything is working fine, there's no complaints, right? But IT does a lot of work to continue the business servicing business. Our goal with this campaign is to recognize the IT heroes who come and basically come forward and go beyond call of their duty to serve the business and celebrate them through our IT Heroes campaign. That's what we're doing.
Thanks, Satyan. I think that's a great initiative, and my congratulations to all the IT heroes and the IT fraternity for doing a fab job. Thanks a lot, Satyan. It was really insightful talking to you, but I think it's now time for you to announce the digital transformation pioneers powered by Summit AI. So Satyan, over to you.
At Symphony Summit AI, we are happy to partner with Core Media to recognize the digital transformation pioneers for this year. Let's take a look at the winners.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first digital transformation pioneer is Baljinder Singh, Global Head of Digital Transformation EXL Service. The next digital transformation pioneer is Nikhil Shembekar, Head Digital Analytics, Supply Chain and Emerging Technologies, Sun Pharma. The next digital transformation pioneer is Sanjay Kota, Joint President and Chief Digital and Business Transformation Officer, Adani Group. The next digital transformation pioneer is Prakash Ramachandran, CTO BYJU'S. The next digital transformation pioneer is Zach Murad, Chief Information and Technology Officer, S&P Global, Chrysler. The next digital transformation pioneer is Preeti Kanwar, Head Information Technology and Business Applications, NEC Corporation.
Congratulations to all the winners, and wishing you good luck for the years ahead. Thank you.
Congratulations to all the honorees. Thank you, Satyen. Ladies and gentlemen, once again on your screen at the right bottom corner, you see the survey tab. Do click on the tab and then click on the Symphony Summit AI logo to see the questions and respond. Do fill in your answers quickly and join us back here. Remember, we have gift vouchers worth ₹2,000 for the lucky ones staying with us throughout the session, and also for those of you participating in our surveys. So stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, do tag us with the hashtag CIO Crown 2021 as you post your thoughts and learnings from the event across social media on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. We will be picking the best posts, and you will get gift vouchers worth ₹2,000 coming your way. Coming up next, we are joined by Vrinda Pai, Director Information Systems at 247.ai, as part of our C-Suite Digital Vision series. Let's hear it from Vrinda, the outlook for the IT and ITES sector.
Hi, thanks Aditya. So, considering the top three trends that are going to come up in the next 1 year or so, one is a big time adoption of cloud. Cloud being scalable, quick to implement, and also in terms of cost saving, if done effectively, seems to be one of the biggest trends that's happening. And the need there is to understand that people need to be trained so that they are able to implement effectively. Also, there is a need to understand that it's a journey and it needs to be planned. Plus, you have to be cloud ready when you're developing something because what is there on prem may not necessarily suit the cloud as is. The second big trend that would be coming up is connecting the dots. Today, we have multiple systems that are connected through different systems. Unless we have all the data from various systems coming in and seamlessly interacting with each other, it would be very difficult to understand what is the impact of one activity on the other. Hence, it is very critical that all systems are connected together and brought in, the data is brought in and seen as one set rather than many individual sets. The third biggest thing that would come up is data visualization. Today, with the kind of load that people are handling, as well as the short amount of time that we have to get to what we want, the information that we need, and the insights that we need, it would be very difficult if people had to sift through layers and layers of data. So, one of the biggest things that would come up is the ability to understand what is the point of interest for the person who is reading the data and providing them the insights so that they can take effective action. That's what it is from me. Thanks, Aditya.
Thank you, Vrinda. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up now are the Leadership Circle Awards, presented by Nutanix. To tell us more and to present these awards, we have with us Anantharaman Balakrishnan, Vice President and Managing Director, India Sales at Nutanix. Over to you, Bala.
Thanks, Aditya. Good evening, and really proud to be associated with Core Media and the Leadership Circle Awards. A great evening to all our esteemed CIO guests out here. So just a brief on Nutanix. I'm sure a lot of you know Nutanix, but still it'll be good for us to refresh the value we bring to our customers. So as you may be aware, we had a new CEO, Rajiv Ramaswamy, who joined us in December 2020. So he set forth a new vision and mission for us. So the vision we signed up for is to make clouds invisible, freeing customers to focus on their business outcomes. And the mission is to delight customers with a simple, open, hybrid multi-cloud software platform and rich data services to build, run, and manage any application. Now, what this has helped us is to get in mainstream with a lot of enterprises. So Gartner Peer Insights rates us as the customer choice for 2021. IDC globally rates us as the #1 hyperconverged software vendor across globally. And we have about 19,430 customers using Nutanix all over the world. Our customer retention rate is greater than 90%, but most importantly, our net promoter score, which is an indicator of Nutanix customer experience, is at 93% and has been above 90% for the last 7 years. So that does say a lot about the overall experience we have provided to our customers. Coming back to India, we have had fantastic support from our customer base here. And IDC has rated us #1 for 13 quarters now.
Yes, you got it right. 13 quarters consecutively in a row, we are number one in the hyper-converged market. So if you look at HCI, we've moved from being a hyper-converged vendor onto a hybrid cloud infrastructure vendor. And therefore, we have two pillars of offerings. The first pillar is our hybrid cloud infrastructure, and the second pillar is our hybrid cloud management. And the reason why the second pillar has become very important for our customers is that this pandemic has truly pushed a lot of customers to modernize their infrastructure, their applications, and to automate their entire IT to be provided as a service. So this has been one of the largest factors for our growth in India. And as per our Q3 results, in the quarter ended April 30th, we grew 24% on a new customer base. 24% in these pandemic times is a very promising sign of growth. We have partners coming and asking to work with Nutanix, and these are new partners, and we had 21% growth in new partners signing up for Nutanix. And a lot of our success has come in from what I would call as a use case based, application based selling. And if I look at a quick view of the type of use cases we have been helping our customers with, the multi hybrid cloud journey, which we have been helping our customers, has led to use cases like self-service portals for developers. So if you want the VMs, the containers, the databases, all of them to be provided to you, provisioned to your developers in double quick time, just have Nutanix. We have helped customers modernize their infrastructure from the traditional 3-tier one and bring huge efficiencies of scale. We've had performance workloads wherever customers are looking at transactions per second and wherever customers are looking at cost per transaction. Thereby a very compelling journey as far as their outcomes and business outcomes is concerned. We've had performance workloads doing really, really well on Nutanix. In the manufacturing space, we are seeing customers going for S/4HANA infrastructure refreshes, and we have some really big names out there on Nutanix. So overall, if you see the benefits which our customers are getting, they are going beyond the traditional IT benefits onto genuine business outcomes, which is what we stand here for as Nutanix India, to truly deliver compelling business experiences for our customers. So I would request Aditya to welcome the winners of the Leadership Circle 2021 awards. And Aditya, let's take a look at the winners.
Ladies and gentlemen, time to announce the Leadership Circle awardees. Our first awardee is Vishwas Joshi, Global Head Technology Services and IT Finance Internal IT Tata Consultancy Services. Next we have Biswabrata Chakravarti, CIO IndusInd Bank. Our next Leadership Circle awardee is Arvind Sivaramakrishnan, CIO Apollo Hospitals. Moving on to the next awardee, Munish Blagan, Head Technology Infrastructure Group, ICICI Bank. The next awardee of the Leadership Circle title is Jai Thomas, VP IT Infra and Ops, Daily Hunt. Next we have R. Srinivas, GMIT Infrastructure and Security, the Himalaya Drug Company. Next up is Sandeep Deshmukh, SGM and Head Global Infrastructure Persistent Systems. Our next awardee is Ashok Nayak, CIO, IPCA Laboratories. We now have our next awardee, Amit Jaukar, CDO and CISO, NKGSB Bank. The final awardee in the leadership circle is Sankarsan Banerjee, CIO, RBL Bank.
Congratulations to all the winners of the Leadership Circle 2021 awards, and hope you all have a great year ahead. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Bala. Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to unveil Kyndryl exclusively at the CIO Crown platform this year. To tell us more about the exciting vision of Kyndryl and what's in store for Enterprise India, I would like to invite Lingaraju Saukar, President Kyndryl India, in conversation with Anup Mathur.
Hi Lingu, how are you? It's really good to see you.
Hey Anup, it's really wonderful. I think the last we spoke was on another similar session, but it's really wonderful to get in touch with you. It's been a long time, but it never feels that long enough to have met with you earlier.
Thanks for that, Lingu. So, firstly, my heartiest congratulations on Kyndryl, and of course, Kyndryl has been launched at an exciting time. When Indian organizations are considerably, revisiting and accelerating their digital transformation programs. Lingu, tell us what are some of the unique factors that hold Kyndryl as a strategic partner in this journey?
I think Anup, this is a very interesting question, especially when you look at from where we are with all the change that's happening around us. The first thing is there's a change out with the industry itself, and I'm not talking the tech industry. I'll come to the tech industry later. The first change is how businesses are getting transformed. I mean, every element of what businesses were going through has got transformed. The whole pandemic has accelerated digital transformation to one extent, but it has also changed the way organizations or industries are working. Industries are looking at clients and businesses and processes. So that's one big change. The second change, of course, is the tech industry itself, with so much of new capabilities which have come in. It's basically questioning a whole lot of ways in which things are being done, service was being delivered, technology is being adopted, and more importantly, the use of data and AI has become a big change itself. Keeping these two elements in mind, Kyndryl is stepping itself into at a very exciting time in the industry. As I said, it is coming in with the legacy or the wisdom of a 100-year-old organization being part of IBM. So the entire amount of client information, the work that has been doing, managing critical clients, that stays within this. But then it's got now the agility and the flexibility of a startup organization. So it sort of combines both of that together, and then attempts to take it to the next level. So I would probably put it this way, Anu. First thing is, I think for any company, right, the two trust of any company is it's basically its people and its customers, right? These two are key priority areas for us here at Kyndryl. And then when you take that and then you build it around three fundamental principles, which is around speed to simplification, because with technology, things can get more complicated, but then how do you simplify it a lot more? How do you bring it, make it easy for consumption and make it effective? So bringing the effectiveness angle is through integration. There's so many things that's happening across, which could be in silos, but then technology coming in as a very key player to integrate things across. And thirdly is the innovation through quality and agility, right? So bringing those pieces together, I think presents us at a very unique model of how we want to look at and deal with things right now. So I think our endeavor and journey is to build a world-class, and not a world-class, I mean, world-class is taken today's for granted, but it's more a world's best technology services firm on a consulting model basis, so that you act as a coach and a consultant to customers, and not just as a as a watcher of things, but actually help navigate and guide clients through this phase. And more importantly, I think bring it along with the new ways of working and the whole culture aspect to it. I think that's going to be the biggest element for us as we step into the next journey, Anup. So we are very excited about what we're seeing. We are very excited about how we're going to operate, and I will cover that as a model that we're going to operate, the changes that we're going to bring together, the new practices that we are bringing on board, and more importantly, the whole people aspect of it, both from a customer's perspective as well as employees' perspective. I think these are a couple of building blocks on how we see things coming to bear, Anup.
Excellent. And Lingo, I think it is pretty much need of the hour. The way things are panning out with businesses and enterprises, there is clearly a pressing need for a brand like yours who brings in the value proposition of not only just being a consultant but also partnering in the two sense to deliver the service model. Now you did touch upon this, Lingo, but Kyndryl calls itself a 90,000 person startup. How are you leveraging this status of a nimble startup while drawing on the reputation, brand value, and legacy that IBM has amassed over the years?
I think, in fact, this actually came up from one of our, when we were trying to, as we started this journey initially, when we were talking to a couple of our customers and some of our employees in one of the focus groups, right? Somebody actually mentioned this very powerfully. He said, look, Kyndryl, it's coming with the wisdom of a 100-year-old organization. Now combine that with the flexibility and agility of a startup, and those two potent combinations can do so much for the industry and transform things across. So that was a very profound and powerful one that actually came from one of our customers themselves. So keeping that in as a core principle, we say, hey, this is really wonderful. What we're trying to do, somebody has so successfully captured it across, because in the technology industry, it's always a state of transformation. There is hybrid, there's legacy, there's environment, but you've got to transform to the new. But as you transform to the new, you need to have the understanding of how things are working, what are the interconnects, and then be able to take it to the future. So the first thing across with the 90,000 employees, which we've got across, is if I look at India itself, Kyndryl India is a very sizable employee population, but more importantly, more than the employee population, I would call it as capability availability here, whether it is through our client innovation centers, whether it is through our cloud migration factory out here, whether it is through our laboratories out here, whether it is across the local, the domestic business that we do out here. I think across all of them, there's basically three areas how we've lined it up. First thing is optimizing around for customers. The customer becomes the center of everything that we do in this organization. And then comes the people who connect with the customers. So dealing with the whole environment through trust and transparency and bringing ourselves organized around a very simple operating model. It is basically operating around India as a model which works directly with global. So it's basically, there's no layers in between. So it's a very simplified model. The second part of it is within the customer first model, the whole organization is structured and organized around the customer segments, customers themselves. So that means you're able to bring in capabilities of relevance to the customer, whether it's a specific industry, whether it is a specific technology set, or whether it is a specific set of capabilities that you bring together. The third element of it is very specifically closer to in India for us. Along with the rest of the globe as well. In India, we start off on day one being the market leader in the infrastructure services business. So that's a strong position to start with. But how do we enable and take our customers in the journey to the future is where all our focus around. So to do that, we have organized ourselves around a few key practice areas, which is a very different approach from what we were in the past. So this is where we get into the consulting and coaching model, so building practices. So the practices bring in three things together. It brings our offering on one side, it brings the engineering on the second side, and the delivery on one side. So it brings all of them together and hence builds a consultative practice model. So our practices are built around a few incremental areas. First and foremost is cloud, which has been our core, enterprise core, which is where I would say it's a mix of our hybrid capabilities and the capabilities that go for the future. Third is security and resilience, which I think whether it's the world of pandemic or either way, there's been a very heightened activity in the security side, but the need to build a lot more resilience environment, and that's something that's been a core strength of IBM. So that's a third practice that we've got. The fourth practice, which I spoke to you briefly, is about the the new ways of working, which is a whole digital workplace. So that's a practice that we brought to the table. Then cloud, data, and AI. Sorry, cloud we spoke about. Data and AI is a all new practice that we brought in. Now, the data and AI practice is a very interesting one as we pull it together because this is where we look at combining the legacy of what we were doing earlier, the data that we've captured, the information that we've got, the patterns that we've developed of having dealt with customers across various industries, across various technologies, the deep reservoir of data and advanced IP that we've got. We're now bringing that along with the AI on top of it to manage clients' most complex environments and demanding environments. Now, and you've been in this industry for a very long time, Anup. You see how the adaptation of technology has become both an opportunity and a challenge. So we want to capture the opportunity, mitigate the challenge as we go through in this area. And that's where the whole the deep data and AI that we build together becomes sort of an IP that you take it to clients and organize the patterns by industry so that you're able to innovate, get to a predictive model where you can actually tell clients and work with customers together and say that, look, this is where you and this is where you are today, but this is where we can get to. So the whole principle of meeting customers where they are today and work with them to take them to the point at where they want to get to is how we're looking at from a Kindle perspective. So around all of this would be the advisory services that we built together, which is around the partnerships. Now, another dimension to this angle, Anup, is the ecosystem, and the ecosystem plays a very important role. When being part of IBM, you were looking at the world of technology from the IBM technology landscape perspective. But now, when you move into the world of Kyndryl, you suddenly open up and start looking at the world from a multi-technology perspective, whether it is across the hyperscalers, whether it is across application players, whether it is across the new world of startups and the new world of technology players. So then you start working in a far more collaborative manner so that you're able to take all these together to the customers and then give them the best of breed opportunities and solution, which meets the customers where they are, but takes them to where we want to get to. So this is a combination of how we look at the capabilities in India across the 90,000 people that you spoke about, the laboratories, and more importantly, I think what we now have a great opportunity is to actually leverage all of this capability to do POCs and things across with customers locally here and then scale it up into a production mode. So multiple things, Anup, and so many things that come across. A lot of it is what I call as co-creation with customers. And this truly is an opportunity for us to co-create to transform industries.
Excellent. And I think, Lingu, clearly data and AI are so important today. In fact, you'll appreciate that today, the entire world is in a startup mode, right? Because all the economies are on a reimagine or, reevaluate, rethink kind of a mode. And you're absolutely right. It's partners like you who are needed to co-create, because even with organizations and enterprises, which are traditional organizations, at some point they are now back into a startup mode because they are relooking at everything, reimagining, and clearly, things need to be co-created. So, moving on, Lingu, you did touch upon cloud, and cloud computing is the foundational platform for enterprises in driving innovation and business transformation in today's day and age. So, Lingu, tell us, what are the key focus areas for Kyndryl in terms of managed services, advisory and implementation services to enable the complex cloud journeys of Indian enterprises and address the unsolved challenges?
So I think, Anup, you very rightly put it across, right? I mean, cloud becomes a very essential and integral part of every organization's digital transformation. But when you get to that point, you also got to look at where you're starting from and how you go from where you are to where you want to be. And in that perspective, we organize ourselves around three areas. The first thing is around the cloud and advisory practices. So this basically cuts deep into this practice that we brought across the table as a horizontal, takes us through every part of it, right from the application layer, the data and AI, security, core enterprise, takes it across there and helps develop a very structured plan for customers to reach their business objectives. So that's where the cloud and advisory services comes together. The next layer, as I spoke to you a little while ago, is about the data and AI layer. So Kindle has a very deep reservoir or data, when you call data lake or reservoir, with the patterns that we've developed for customers across various industries over a period of time. And with that, now adding expertise on top of that and bringing the whole AI layer on top of it, it basically helps us to now manage the most demanding environments. Because once a client gets onto the digital journey, environments become far more demanding because it's an always-on scenario. It's a scenario where the processes are fundamentally changed to make it completely interlinked. So you can't afford either a downtime, nor can you afford an environment which is not on at various points in time. So it has to become self-healing, it has to be self-corrective, it has to be not just predictive but proactive. So bringing the smarts into the environment with this whole capability enables the environment to become a lot more robust in a short span of time. And third thing is within the core itself, when you position ourselves as a multi-technology player, the ability to understand the client's needs, ability to look at what's available as technology and bring in the best of breed technologies inside by being by working with the ecosystem, because we'll now be a very strong multi-technology, multi-cloud, multi-player partner. So bringing the best of those capabilities in and customizing it for where the customer is in his cloud journey, using the advisory services to define what's the next path, and then take them along into the journey is where I see the opportunity which is there for everyone, and for us to work with customers to co-create the environment. At the same time, I think while you did talk about the cloud piece, but what is critical is the other parts of the interlinkages, the whole security and resilience area, right? I mean, that's an area which has got so much more criticality at this point in time, given what's happening out there. But at the same time, given the new ways of working, which actually makes us a lot more, the need for resilience has become far more critical. So the security and resilience part of it, the part of the digital workplace itself, because then you're now having multiple touch points and multiple handoff points into the environment. So the digital workplace of working with the right level of access controls, and also ensuring that the enabling the new age workforce in every industry, it's redefining the millennial workforce coming inside, and the whole theme of bring your own devices, but also making it comfortable for them to work with becomes the second part of it. While doing all of this stuff, making sure that the core enterprise, which is where your business is running today, has to run while the transformation is going on. So you need an expertise to handle that. So that's where the core enterprise managing that becomes a critical area. And then, of course, the data and AI layer sort of cuts through. So I think these are few things that, as Kyndryl, with its cloud and advisory services as a practice, as well as the interlinked practices coming to bear, makes a big value to clients. And our fundamental theme is built around co-creation and localized value. So these are few things that I think, Anup, makes us very confident of the opportunity ahead, but also to the ability to partner with our customers in their journey and enable that journey in a much more secure, faster, and capable, in the hands of very capable resources. So that's how I probably look at it, Anup.
Excellent, Lingu, and once again, my best wishes to Kyndryl on the journey that you embarked on, and I wish you all the success for taking Kyndryl to new heights as the leader for the business, and co-creating and helping customers transform experiences going far forward. So thanks a lot, Lingu, for joining us. That was quite insightful, and like I said, once again, best wishes and congratulations. Thank you so much, Lingu.
Thank you, Anup. Thank you for your time. And more importantly, we're looking forward to these kind of conversations, which will basically help us, co-create the future of this industry as we go together. And that's a journey that, with players like you all, with customers, and with Kyndryl and other players, we really look forward to co-creating the future for this industry. Thank you very much for your time as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for that invigorating discussion. Much appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to hear from another senior leader in the industry about the C-suite digital vision for the metal and mining industry. We have with us Vineet Jaiswal, sharing with us his digital outlook.
Hey, thank you, Aditya, for hearing some thoughts from me on this. So, see, there are two sides of it I will talk today. One is on the technology side, top three priorities, as well as from the business side, top three priorities, right? More from the metal and mining space side of it. On the technology side, the three big technology, or the big three things on the technology side, which I see the impact will be the first will be the 5G, right? Whether it comes as an entire industry in terms of availability, or people have their own 5G private network. Because the reason I see 5G being one of the key game changer for a lot of companies will be because people do invest a lot of money on network piping and all that, right? The whole problem will go away, right? With the 5G availability, people can understand how to faster transform the data or transfer the data, right? Use the data, right? Related to 5G, the another big one which I feel is the edge computing. There will be a lot of different use cases on the edge side of it, I see. The reason I see a lot in edge side, because we have been doing a lot of stuff in edge from years, but with 5G getting there, it will be a further booster for the edge side of it. Third big thing which I see is on the video analytics. While we have been doing a lot of stuff on video analytics from last few years, with the kind of research and development happening and a lot of APIs available where we can quickly use technology, I see video analytics going to the next level where people will come with crazy ideas, crazy use cases and apply them. Now, coming from the business side of it, I think the first priority for the business side will remain same on the culture transformation. And my philosophy of heart, head, and hand, where first every company, what they should do is make sure they win the heart of their employees. So that they understand and they can resonate with the idea of digital transformation. Second, they should win the head of their employees. The reason is when they win the head, and the way to win the head is by giving example very relevant to them, right? If they are in making of steel, be it steel idea, or if they are in cement industry, cement. So I think based on the industry, they give them idea which resonates with them directly, and finally enable their hand. So a lot of things has to be done by everybody so that people can use this as a normal. It's like mobile, right? In today's world, tell me who doesn't know how to use mobile. Similarly, there will be technologies where technologies like AI will be used as commodity, and people will just keep using it. So culture transformation will be the top thing for me. Second will be the supply chain, because this pandemic taught us something very, very important lesson, that supply chain can get disrupted anytime, anywhere. So we have to be better at that. So supply chain is the second big area which I feel every company should have. And the third thing is, like, we always forget about the support functions. We do, if you are in manufacturing, we do manufacturing. If you are in mining, we do mining. But we forget about support functions. So there will be a lot of focus on support function, so that these things are so easy to do stuff, gives a good visibility with the data, set so that the business can run smoothly. So these are the top three things from the technology as well as the function side.
Thank you, Vineet, for that insight. We have the pleasure of presenting our executive partner, CrowdStrike. I would like to welcome Sadbir Singh, Sales Engineering Manager, India and SOC, CrowdStrike, for this session.
Thanks, Aditya. Welcome, everyone. The agenda that we have today is to go and cover 4 aspects: the importance of understanding problems in cybersecurity, golden standards to go and stop breaches, what are the recommendations that we have, and how CrowdStrike can go and solve some of the problems for you. So when we look into the different type of attacks over the years, definitely the volume has grown, the different type of attacks have increased, and there have been file-based attacks, fileless attacks. But the main problem is adversaries are becoming more capable while defenders are struggling to stop them. And why is that happening? That's the bigger question that we have. If we look into either the e-crime activities, either the targeted activities, it's kind of similar uptrend in all of them. And when we look into our security spends, that have also grown over the time. So there is some problem somewhere. There is a problem that we are not able to understand. Right? Whenever we see some new type of attacks or some new, we try to find some new type of technologies to take care of it. Sometimes we move towards the next gen technologies. But even moving to newer technologies or expanding the horizon, what is more critical is to go and understand the problem, and understand the problem from a different lens, the attacker's lens, and then try to solve that problem. That is what we need. Typically, what happens when you look into the WannaCry kind of attack or some other attack? There's a huge technical analysis that comes up, and that analysis lets us understand how the attack runs on a system. Right? But we need to move beyond that. Otherwise, what will happen is we will fall victim of a strategic surprise where attacker is successful in doing something, and we are just reacting to that problem. When we look into ransomwares from last few years, I don't want to go and dwell deeper into the different type of ransomware attacks. But what I want to showcase you is this business of ransomware is increasing over a period of time. But it's not just the business; it's the attacker behind that business who is making all of it happen. They learn on a daily basis. When we look into the top three ransomware threat actors, how much money they made in 2018, it was close to 30 to 40 million. The very next year, it increased just for one attacker, who we call in our threat intelligence Wizard Spider, to close to about 100 million in a single year. In 2020, Wizard Spider made 34 million just with one ransom, one single ransom. The very same year, Doppler Spider issued 1.4 billion ransom demands. So these are the attackers who are making money, and as they get more money, they get more capability to do R&D, more capability to understand the unknowns, and they get stronger and stronger. We need to understand that. When we look into a different type of threat actors which are out there are nation state threat actors, there are e-crime threat actors, there are these attackers go and do a lot of damage to different industries. We need to understand how quickly they act as they come into an environment, because we need to stop them quickly. If we don't stop them, they will go and expand and create a bigger problem for us. When a nation state Chinese threat actor comes in an environment, it typically takes about 4 hours to start laterally spreading in your environment. The fastest is the Russian. It takes typically about 19 minutes. So we need to be faster than them. So there is a rule of 1-10-60, which sets the golden standard in the industry to survive a breach. And this 1-10-60 rule is 1 minute to detect, 10 minutes to investigate, and 60 minutes to respond. And whenever something happens in your environment, you should know about it in 1 minute. You get the full scope of it in about 10 minutes, and you go and you respond to that problem, clean up that problem in your environment about 6 minutes. That's how fast we need to be. And for that, we need solutions which can analyze all of this very, very quickly. And that cannot happen on-prem. We need cloud-native technologies that runs on microservices, that analyzes huge chunk of data sets and delivers the answers back to us in time so we can act on it. But that's one part of the game. The recommendations that we have for you today is a complete 5-step process. The first 3 takes care of the problem for you in hand and makes it very difficult for the attacker to come inside. But the step 4 and 5 goes and prepares you for the next big attack which may come in your environment. The first one is secure the enterprise. This is where you work on your hygiene, you work on patching up those systems, you work on having strong security controls in place. The second one is if something comes in your environment, how we act on it quickly. The problem of 1-10-60. Third is to take care of all type of attacks from a defense standpoint. Either it's file-based, either it's file-less attacks. And fourth is to have cyber drills, to have red teamings, to understand the gaps in your environment. Fifth, threat intelligence. That will let you know who the threat actor is, what's the capabilities of this threat actor. And all of these 5 different elements are available in CrowdStrike's platform. This platform covers you against breach, prepares you against the next attack that may come up in your environment, and ensures that you survive those intrusions. The technology spans across endpoint security and goes all the way to threat intelligence and services. The entire platform is a single agent platform. It has one single console and just takes around 1% CPU to deliver all these security technologies in a seamless manner. The platform enables you to work from anywhere and enables you to have full global visibility and controls from security standpoint, goes and stops all type of attacks. We have complete remote incident response services and threat intelligence capabilities as well. Everything baked up into a single platform that lets us know who the threat actors are. It lets us know what are new things which are happening across the globe. It gives us the tools and capabilities to act in a manner which maps to the golden standard of 11060. And we also have complete managed services where end to end we can take care of you completely, not just delivering you tools, but end to end services to take care of the breach problem in your environment. So we started with the problem of how exactly is the threat actors going to attack you, and how exactly are you going to stop them. Your ability to defend advanced cyber threats rests almost entirely on your understanding of the problem. CrowdStrike bridges that gap. It lets you understand the adversary, it lets you take care of the adversary. Last year alone, we've stopped 75,000 breaches, intrusions, and ensured that all our customers are safe. We can do this for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sadbir. Our next leader for the C-Suite Digital Vision is Vinay Kargonkar, VP and Head Corporate IT Lawson & Toubro for a large conglomerate. Looking forward to hearing your views.
Thanks, Anup and the team, for giving me this opportunity to give a message. The new normal post-COVID demands fast change at low cost and accelerate the cloud transformation throughout the organization. However, as point number one, we must do cloud transformation where it makes sense. Each organization is having very specific needs. Like for example, take case of Lawson Toubro, where we have multiple companies inside one big company, highly verticalized. So product and services must be tailored to the specific needs or the business problems. Take point number two, wherever we have planned transformation, IT transformation, or being planned significant investments, it must support the digital vision of the company. Like for example, the IoT platforms, integrations, agile products and services. Post-pandemic, there is a greater focus on the cost optimization, innovation, and a business value delivery. But on the top of it is the resiliency. So all products must be designed which are cyber safe, or with the design principles of security first. Because of remote operations, our attack surface has gone up multifold. So security by design has to be prime focus. We should not forget the ultimate outcome of IT and digital is the most important thing for businesses. So business value must be measured and auditable. This way, IT can demand a seat on the table. Good luck for your all IT initiatives or digital initiatives in days to come. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Vinay. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next is an extremely stirring conversation powered by our data and AI partner IBM for an in-depth exploration into how enterprises can thrive in a data-driven world. I welcome two leading experts of data, analytics and AI in the industry. Mr. V.S. Srirangarajan, CIO Pulp and Fiber Business Aditya Birla, and Mr. Vishal Chehel, Director IBM Automation and AP Cloud Pak Labs, IBM Software Labs. Over to you, Vishal.
Thank you, Aditya, for handing it over to me. Let's take the discussion forward by setting the stage. We live in a thriving data-driven world. It's a digital economy world. And what we're seeing there is that CIOs across industries are leveraging data, analytics, AI to transform not only the customer experience, but also the business processes and trying to build a truly data-rich, insight-driven enterprise. Now, for manufacturing sector, which is at the cusp of a digital disruption per se, data is fundamental to this transformation, right? And what we want to talk about today in the session is shed some light on how successful manufacturers are using the technologies such as analytics, AI, IoT, blockchain to derive some value out of the data and make it a strategic priority, right? Let's hear from Mr. V.S. Srirangarajan, Grasim Industries, Aditya Birla Group, on his experience around smart plants and smart manufacturing. Welcome, sir. Let me actually start by asking you around this whole concept of smart manufacturing. So we've seen from a technology vendor point of view and the platform that we are developing around AI, IoT, and analytics, that smart manufacturing has been revolutionizing the production floors and the manufacturing processes per se. So with the digital disruption that I just talked about, there's tremendous value in investing on technology that enable the smart manufacturing. So be it AI, analytics, IoT, advanced automation, or AI-driven automation and blockchain. Now, this calls for the base of this is based on a data strategy, which has to be comprehensive. So, sir, I would like to ask you, what are some of the key factors that lead to, a successful creation of a smart plant, or in your experience, the smart manufacturing paradigm that we are seeing?
Thank you, Vishal. Let me try and answer this question by saying how we went about getting a pilot smart plant. It was a small plant, new greenfield plant, and we went about doing all these so-called smart factory initiatives in this plant. And the reason to do that was to give the confidence that this can work in larger plants. And this is working now for about 2.5, 3 years. Okay. We started with trying to say, hey, okay, we will have in-plant automation, we will have video analytics, we'll talk of product genealogy. So we are talking of backward tracing of data in that case. We want to kind of really see the so-called OT-IT convergence. Okay, instead of people entering data, we said everything will be tablet-based. We want to have all real-time data across my plant. These were some of the fundamental thoughts when we went about this plant. Okay, so we have a smart warehouse there. It's an RFID-enabled warehouse. All my assets, they're automated through controls, through inferential sensors. We, typically in any of my plant, if you go and see, we will have way bridges, truck movement, everything being managed, tracked by security manually. I mean, in this plant, everything is unmanned, automated. We have real-time truck mapping on the plant. So we kind of tried to say, can we get everywhere technology rather than people? That was one of the key things that we went about. And we think we have done that quite successfully. It's working for about 2.5 years, 3 years now. This December, we'll complete 3 years. Similarly, talking of worker safety, worker identification, attendance, all are through real-time video analytics. So we are saying plant safety, another key thing in an environment like ours. It's a plant environment, every possibility of accidents. So 0 accidents, everything working beautifully. Okay. We have gone for historian. So I'm able to trace backwards if there is any customer complaint. I'm able to track backwards and say, where did this come from? So I'm able to, through product genealogy, say what was wrong, what went wrong. Okay. We also kind of said here, we will have a real-time dashboard. When I mean real-time dashboard, it is there at multiple places. People are able to kind of take decisions based on data, not just purely by experience. I'm sure even today we take by experience, but it is at least data-based experience rather than just experience, which we do in typically in most of my plants. I think this is how we went about this whole thing in that plant. We seem to see success there. We are now replicating that in larger plants.
One of the things that we see on the technology side of the platforms, sir, is that when IBM talks about data and AI, we talk about this whole concept of data lineage, the whole concept of auditability of data, as well as the machine learning and AI that acts on it, smart sensors, the whole concept of security being actually the bedrock of it, whether it is data we are talking about, whether it is AI, whether it is automation that we are talking about. So, sir, in a similar parlance, if I was to talk about manufacturing, so when we talk about your platform, the Green Track platform, which has ensured that you have a forest to fashion traceability, and the overall sustainability that you can have around it. Would like to hear your views around how do you achieve this traceability, the way we call it in the technology platform world.
Okay, let me kind of give a genesis to why we needed traceability. First of all, I mean, this traceability was not something that we wanted to do because we wanted blockchain. It is the other way around. Blockchain enabled such a traceability. Why do you need traceability? Today, when you talk of this textile industry itself, if you say we are manufacturing about 150 billion apparels, one is talking of using 1.6 billion liters of water per day. We use 10,000 liters of water for a pair of jeans. So you can understand what kind of effect this whole thing has on the environment. And so, the basic reason was to improve sustainability, how to make this world more sustainable. And that is where it started from. We are talking of being able to trace, we will talk of zero discharge, we will say where did it come from, etc. Okay. And here, when you're talking of a textile chain, you're talking of all the way from forest to pulp to fiber, then you say spinners will do yarn, and then, a couple of more, and then finally I get to retail. I mean, there are blind spots in between. If it was everything managed by one agency, one simple ERP or the project genealogy that I said in a smart factory within my factory, those kinds of solutions would have probably worked for me. Now it is blind spots. Two, there is element of trust. Why should somebody who is my customer's customer share data with me? What benefits does he get? Why should he do? Will it create competitive challenges? Those were the kinds of things that one had in mind. Okay, so we have come up with this idea of blockchain so that we are building 100% trust in this whole thing. What you are entering is what you know. What I'm entering is what I know, and so we are able to kind of do this. Now, today, we have gone through this whole thing of cycle. We are talking of now saying, if you go into a store, for example, I'm taking example of Pantaloon in India, since all of us know Pantaloon. There are other stores you can do outside India as well. There are QR codes. I can scan the QR code and be able to say, here, this particular garment made of VSF as a part of the material, it need not necessarily be 100% VSF, came from which forest? And this forest, how are they actually again regenerating the forest? So one says here, this forest, this wood pulp has come from Canada, and this forest in Canada is again going to be replanted, and after 90 years it will be reharvested, and so on and so forth. That is the primary objective of this whole thing. Having said that, in terms of the key success factors, if I could put something like that to this, it is business which led this project. It is not technology guys who led this project. And another basic philosophy that we started this, and this is still continuing, we are every day growing this, we are improving this. It will take, I think, another couple of years to say we will see it differently. We started small, very small, with few vendors, improved it, got this going. And so we are building consensus as we take more and more people.
It's very interesting example of how today there is a convergence of data platforms driven by AI and insights, the way you gave an example, sir, and traceability coming together through blockchain. And we are talking about platforms or the ability in the platforms to be able to bring it all together rather than actually talk about them as different services. As an end user today, you see this whole journey starting with data to analytics to AI to the automation that will happen, and the bedrock of this being security plus the traceability that you achieve using blockchain. This is leading us to this whole era of digital workers. So one of the things that we see is that this digital transformation, and you are already kind of ahead in the curve on adoption of that, is obviously leading you to the digital tipping point, as we call it, right? So especially when we put it to the manufacturing part of the process, how do you see the future evolving to handle the digital tipping point that we will reach at some point?
The way I imagine how this is going to work for everybody. Today, typically, most of the manufacturing plants are kind of focused on ensuring uptime, ensuring quality and things like that. And in each of this, I see that technology can play a part. Why do I say technology can play a part? Let me kind of give you a few examples of how in some of the so-called key parameters of a manufacturing we are able to kind of deliver business value. I think our focus has been to leverage technology for business value, and we believe that we are able to do that. Yes, I understand quantifying business benefits is a ask in itself, but I think we seem to be going slowly towards that. Let's talk of pulp and fiber business itself in Aditya. When we are talking of this kind of stuff, you have input parameters, you have parameters that determine the quality of the fiber that would go into spinning. We have data for almost 5-6 years now. We use AspenTech, we as the historian, so we have 5-6 years of data. What we've been able to try and do now, if I can say so, parameters we are able to predict through neural networks. We are able to predict instead of 8 hours, which used to happen earlier. Today, I'm able to predict that in 10 minutes. So the correction that happens in the process today takes just 10 minutes. And we believe that this has resulted in almost 7% increase in A-grade quality for us, or A+ quality for us. And this is one parameter alone. We have such 6 critical parameters that we are slowly working on. We have completed one, we're in the process of the other, and we're doing something for the other. So one parameter alone is able to give me almost 7%. So I think that is the power of data, if I can say so. That's the power of being able to give you modeling, predictive modeling.
And that's pretty interesting ROI that you said, sir. You could actually map it to a data parameter, actually giving you a 7% ROI, 6 more to go. Pretty interesting way you have really put it, and your future path you want to take. And we on IBM side are talking about actually enabling you to complete your journey with minimalistic IT need to really intervene and
being able to put it all end to end. We are talking about platforms that allow you as a citizen data scientist, the business user, to be able to use them in self-service mode, so that the next 6 months that you want to go after, you don't have to really, or you don't need too much of IT intervention, so that we enable you to really be a digital worker. That's what will allow us to actually be able to take care of the digital tipping point we're coming to, such that we don't rely too much on systems alone. They will be digital workers, empowered workers, who actually would be able to do analytics and AI on top of that, on this humongous amount of data and the initiatives you put together to be able to achieve your end objectives. So we can end it by saying we would have to thrive in the data world.
Indeed, yes.
Thank you so much for your insights and this session.
My pleasure, Vishal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Create new paths for a digital economy. Thank you, gentlemen. Absolutely unmatched insights on how successful organizations are building effective data and AI strategies. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Ladies and gentlemen, on your screen at the right bottom corner, you will see the survey tab. Do click on the tab, and once the page opens up, click on the IBM logo Form 2 to see the questions and respond. And you stand to win exciting gift vouchers worth ₹2,000. Fill in your answers quickly and get back to the main session. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have the Digital Visionaries recognition presented by ServiceNow. To tell us more and to present these recognitions, we have with us Arun Balasubramanian, Managing Director, India and SARC, ServiceNow.
The last 18 odd months have reiterated the fact that digital is the way forward for enterprises as they prepare for a phase of new growth opportunities. CIOs across sectors have done a phenomenal job in driving digital adoption and working on innovative digital models for their organization during these volatile times. The Digital Visionary title honors technology leaders for their remarkable digital initiatives and innovations that help steer their organizations towards digital-only future. Let's take a look at Digital Visionaries for this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, time to announce the Digital Visionaries. Our first Digital Visionary is C.R. Srinivasan, CDO Tata Communications. The next Digital Visionary is Nandkishore Dhomne, CIO Manipal Hospitals. The next Digital Visionary is Arulanandam C, CTO TVS Credit Services. Our next Digital Visionary is Santosh Akula, Head Cloud Services Bharti Airtel. The next Digital Visionary is Saurav Sinha, CIO Indigo. Big congratulations to all the Digital Visionaries.
Congratulations to all the winners and wish you the best ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Arun. Ladies and gentlemen, next up is the much-awaited Digital Genius Awards and the Hospital and Healthcare Honors. Our independent jury consisting of distinguished industry leaders and former reputed CIOs. Sanjay Narkar, co-founder Immensa Technologies, Subhash Palkar, founder-member Mentwiser Services, and Vikas Gadre, senior adjunct faculty NMIMS, selected this year's winners from several nominations that we received in the last few days. We extend our very warm gratitude to the distinguished jury. I would like to invite them to share their experience in selecting the winners for the recognitions this year.
Good evening to all. There has been an overwhelming response for both Digital Genius and Healthcare Honors this year, with extremely interesting and innovative projects from across industries. From the several creditable nominations we received, it is evident that technology leaders are focusing on unique digital strategies to help organizations respond effectively and prosper in their post-pandemic world. My congratulations to each and every winner. Thank you.
Good evening. The jury went through several iterations before finalizing the winners. I can confidently say this on behalf of the jury. We had a tough time picking the winners. Nevertheless, here we are with final set of winners who were against some really strong contenders we had this year for both Digital Genius and Healthcare Honors Awards. Congratulations to all the winners.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you, Aditya, for introducing me. Thanks for those kind words. Digital innovation is becoming the foremost priority for CIOs, IT leaders, and really speaking for the CEOs also. This year's nominations for Digital Genius Awards and the Healthcare Honors Awards actually illustrate the strategic role that the CIOs are now playing in driving strategic agendas and the digital innovation in their own organizations. Congratulations to all the winners on behalf of the jury and on my own behalf personally, and wishing you all the best for your endeavors. I wish you that you are all successful in your innovative drives for driving the digital innovations in your organization. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the moment that we have been waiting for. First up are the Digital Genius Awards. This title recognizes CIOs for their path-breaking digital innovations that are ingenious in nature and thereby bringing immense value to their enterprise. It's my pleasure to present to you this year's winners across 6 different categories. The first category is Cloud Excellence, and the first winner in the category Cloud Excellence is Krishnamurthy Rajesh, Head IT ICRA.
I would like to thank Core Media and the jury members for this recognition and great honor. I am truly humbled to receive this prestigious Digital Genius CIO Crown 2021 recognition. Thank you.
The next winner in the category Cloud Excellence is Pankaj Khare, IT Head, Pine Labs.
I would like to thank jury and Core Media for selecting me for CIO Crown recognition. I am feeling obliged that Core Media find me capable for this. Last but not the least, I would like to congratulate my entire IT team. Without their support, I won't be able to achieve this feat.
The next winner in the category Cloud Excellence is Sumit Malhotra, CIO Times Internet.
It is a great respect to stand beside an elite group of industry experts and be recognized for your effort. I would like to thank esteemed jury and Core Media for choosing me. Special thanks to my team and mentors. Without them, it would not be possible to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next category is Data Modernization. Our first winner in this category is Indranil Chatterjee, GM Security and Compliance, Geo Platforms.
It is a proud moment for me to win the Digital Genius 2021. I put my sincere thanks to all impanel jury members for selecting me and also thankful to Core Media team for this opportunity.
Our next winner in this category is Lalit Trivedi, Head IT and CISO ITI Asset Management.
Thank you so much, Core Media, for providing me such opportunity
When any professional spends so much time of his career in the industry and recognized by somebody, it is wonderful time for each and every professional and organization you are associated with.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next category is digital transformation. The first winner in the category digital transformation is Harmeet Singh Malhotra, CTO, Entertain Television.
I would like to thank your Core Media team for recognizing us for the CIO Crown 2021. Such kind of recognition really help us to achieve new heights. Thank you very much.
The next winner in the category digital transformation is Banish Painoli, Director DBSE Viacom 18.
Thank you for this recognition. I am truly honored to receive it. I want to dedicate this recognition to my team. My effort was never enough if my team never gave me the best teamwork. I am grateful to everyone who has always been a part of my journey.
The next winner in the category digital transformation is Nitin Parmar, CIO, Arvind Limited.
It is a great honor for me to receive Digital Genius recognition. I would like to thank members of the jury for this recognition on my efforts on digital journey during the difficult COVID times. My huge gratitude to the Arvind management for providing such opportunity and putting trust on me, and special thanks to my team members who have supported me throughout the journey.
The next winner in the category digital transformation is Venkatesh Babu S, President and Head IT Coffee Day Global.
I feel honored to accept this recognition on behalf of the entire CCD team for their support through our digital journey. I also want to take the opportunity to thank the organizers and jury who recognized our effort and accomplishments.
The next winner in the category digital transformation is V.S. Sri Rangarajan, CIO, Pulp and Fiber Business, Grossum Industries.
Thank you, Core Media, for this recognition. It is my privilege to receive this on behalf of Team Grasim. As with any digital initiative, this is a teamwork, business users, and IT team. I thank everybody for making this happen.
Moving on with the next category, Digital Workspace. The first winning name in the category Digital Workspace is Govind Srinivas Joshi, CIO USV.
Thanks for the recognition. It really means a lot. The Digital Genius CIO Crown 2021. Thanks to the jury for recognizing both the projects.
The next winner in the category Digital Workspace is Pankaj Kumar Pandey, Head IT SBI General Insurance.
I would like to thank the juries for this recognition. This award is the result of wonderful planning and execution by my team and the continuous support provided by my management.
The final winner in the category Digital Workspace is Yogesh Darke, APAC IT Leader, Adient.
It is my privilege and honor representing Adient at CIO Crown 2021. Getting the recognition as a genius comes with a lot of responsibility, and it's an recognition of great hard work of my team. Thank you for this honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next category is Intelligent Automation. The first winner in the category Intelligent Automation is Rucha Nanavati, CIO of Mahindra & Mahindra.
Thank you so much, Core Media, for this recognition. Of course, very happy to receive this on behalf of my team. And I also want to thank my business partners who are equal partners in achieving this digital transformation.
The next winner in the category Intelligent Automation is Anish Nair, co-founder and CIO, My Healthcare Technologies. The next winner in the category Intelligent Automation is Pulak Das, GMIT Yazaki, India.
Thank you for conferring the Digital Genius 2021 recognition. I couldn't have achieved this target by extending the IT systems to all the employees at home without the support of my colleagues.
And the final winner in the category Intelligent Automation is Rajendra S. Bisht, VP Technology and Digital, Bajaj Finance Auto Finance.
Thanks a lot, Core Media, Mr. Anup Mathur, and the esteemed jury who has recognized our efforts. This would not have been possible without my team members who had toiled hard during the pandemic and lockdown working from home.
Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the next and the last category in the Digital Genius Awards, Smart Analytics. The first winner in the category Smart Analytics is Kirsi Tavaria, CIO, BSE.
Hello friends, thank you once again to Core Media and the jury for selecting BSE for the Digital Genius Award 2021. It is indeed a pleasure and a privilege to be associated with Core Media for so many years and being recognized year on year for the innovations that BSE has been doing.
The next winner in the category Smart Analytics is Sudeep Mazumdar, Global Chief Digital and Information Officer, PGP Glass.
Thank you, Core Media, for this recognition. I'm really thankful to the organization PGP Glass Private Limited, its management, my young team, and the cross-functional teams from manufacturing, sales and marketing, HR, digital, and IT.
Congratulations to all the winners. Ladies and gentlemen, we now present the hospital and healthcare honors across 4 categories. This is a recognition presented to ICT leaders for their innovative use of technology in hospitals and healthcare, and their unique strategy that helped their organizations in staying ahead of the curve. The first category is Digital Innovation. And the first winner in the category Digital Innovation is Dalveer Singh, AVP Kusum Healthcare.
First of all, I would like to thank all the jury members of the Core Media Group for this recognition. My special thanks to our management, and above all, my gratitude to my IT team members for executing these projects.
The next winner in the category Digital Innovation is Krishna Rao V. Ravinuthala, SGM and Head IT AIG Hospitals.
Namaste, greetings to everybody. I'm very excited and very happy on getting this recognition. Thanks to Core Media and for their recognition in Triple H Honors CIO Crown 2021. Thanks to Mr. Anup Mathur and entire Core Media team.
The next winner in the category Digital Innovation is Mahesh Shinde, Director IT and Telecommunication, PD Hinduja Hospital and MRC.
First of all, I would like to thank Core Media for recognizing Hinduja Hospital and motivating and encouraging the hospital segment. Hinduja Hospital have been always opting for the emerging technology which improves processes, clinical output, and enhance patient experience.
The next winner in the category Digital Innovation is Saji Matthew, COO and Head IT Baby Memorial Hospital.
Extraordinary times calls for extraordinary measures. I take this opportunity to thank management of Baby Memorial Hospital, my colleagues, and my team members in this journey.
The next winner in the category Digital Innovation is Sanjay Moralwar, SGM IT Head, Cadila Healthcare.
I would like to thank Core Media team and my entire backend team to support me in this current situation and performing to deliver all the targets. Thank you very much.
Moving on with the next category, EMR Adoption. And the winner in the category EMR Adoption is Jay Prakash Dwivedi, CIO, Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Institute and Research Center.
Thank you, Core Media, for this prestigious award.
I'm very happy to receive it on behalf of my organization, Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Institute and Research Center. I dedicate this to my team and the IT partners. Thank you.
The next category is IoT and ecosystem integration. And the winner is Vilu Williams, CIO and Head Digital Transformation, Sir H.N. Reliance Foundation Hospital.
I'm really grateful to the jury for taking their time to recognize us, and especially to my team who has given me all the support to achieve this. Thank you so much.
Our final category in healthcare honors is Telehealth and Connected Health. Ladies and gentlemen, the first winner in the category Telehealth and Connected Health is Prashant Vashisht, VP IT, Care Hospitals Evercare Group.
This is a reward of sincere dedication, hard work demonstrated by a young team, associate partners, and my colleagues. I am deeply honored by jury and Core Media Group for this special recognition. Please accept my sincere gratitude for this priceless honor.
The next winner in the category Telehealth and Connected Health is Ramesh Kumar Yadav, AGM Aditya Birla Health Services.
Thanks, Core Media, for this recognition. I also express my gratitude to entire ABMH IT, SRIT, and leadership of Rekha Dubey at Aditya Birla Memorial Hospital.
Hearty congratulations to all the winners. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to each and every one of you on behalf of Core Media for being with us this evening. Hope you had a great time, and we look forward to more meaningful engagements in the near future. This is your host Aditya Mathur signing off. It's been a pleasure to host you this evening. Take care and keep safe.